SEPHORA has cut ties with beauty influencer Amanda Ensing.
They harassed her and she lost the deal.
The silencing of conservative voices has now become common practice.
And we're going to fight this nonsense. We're going to push back against this cancel culture mob.
You're going to show them all with your own makeup brand. You want to change the beauty culture.
They can't cancel your voice. We live in America. This is a free country.
And people literally are under what seems like a spell of media propaganda.
At this point, you have seen the thumbnail for this video, you've seen the title, and you've chosen to click on it. So I feel like I owe it to you to let you know right off the bat what this video is and what it isn't. This video is about a beauty influencer that shifted hard into right-wing politics. It's about how she built a beauty brand on that foundation and how it changed her career forever. But this video is not about my personal beliefs. Of course, I have personal beliefs, very strong personal beliefs. And if you're curious about those, you can follow me on Threads because I go off there often. But this video is not about me. It is about Amanda Ensing. So therefore, I'm going to try to keep my personal story out of this and just tell the story of Amanda. But that being said, I did write this script and I can't keep my opinions out of this completely. So my opinions are going to leak in from time to time and you will see a bias there. But to be clear, my goal here is not to change anybody's opinion about anything. I am not arrogant enough to think that I could change your opinion about anything. 99.8% of my audience is adults, and I believe in your ability to make your own decisions about what you think and believe. I also want to point out that I'm going to be both critical and fair, as I am with every influencer I talk about. So like, for example, with Jaclyn Hill, I can talk about how charismatic she is, but also talking about that she's presented herself as a lying liar who lies. I can talk about James Charles and how smart he is with business while criticizing pretty much everything else about him. And I'm going to be treating Amanda the exact same way. So long story short, too late. Ultimately, it's up to you how you feel about the story I'm presenting to you today. But I do want to give a quick trigger warning that this is a very politically heavy video. And if that is not something that you are in the mood for, thank you for clicking and I hope I see you in the next one. But if you are interested in how politics affects a person trying to make it in the beauty industry, I would love for you to stick around. We're jumping into it right now. Now, I spent about 4 days watching Amanda Ensing content, like from the moment I woke up to the time I went to bed. So I know a lot about this woman, but I want to promise you that everything I'm about to share with you is stuff that she's either shared personally or it's in an article that was written about her. So I know it feels like it's a lot of information to know, but as someone who can identify our own, Amanda is an oversharer. That being said, let's talk about who is Amanda Ensing, and where we need to start is with baby Amanda Ensing. She was born on September 4th, 1991 in Virginia, and while she was still a baby, her family moved to Tennessee, and that's where her family and she currently live. Her mother is Puerto Rican and her dad is Dutch and French. She grew up with two younger brothers who she speaks very fondly about, and she talks over and over and over again about how she didn't have a lot growing up. In one video, she did mention that she had a lot of land, and then in another video, she talked about how her dad worked from home. I am not here to judge what not having a lot means, but for context, that's what not having a lot means to Amanda. In her early content, Amanda talks a lot about how school was really easy for her, but the social part wasn't so much, especially fitting in with girls in her grade. She said that some of the older boys would often look at her and look at her body, and she felt like that created a bit of jealousy with some of the girls in her grade. grade. When Amanda was 15, she met a boy named Adam on MySpace. And when she first met Adam, Adam wasn't so sure about the relationship because Adam was 18 and that was a little weird for him. Amanda even quoted him once as saying to her, "Hit me up when you're a little older." But Amanda and Adam, I guess, decided not to wait until Amanda was older. They started dating and actually ended up dating for 8 years. But more on Adam later. So Amanda graduates from high school. She's already got some college credits because, again, she excelled academically. She enrolls in college as a political science major, and later on she adds business administration. And she did that because she didn't want to graduate early. She wanted to stay the full 4 years. She also joined a sorority, and it seems like one of the big pushes to join the sorority was to find a friend group. But again, later on, Amanda says that her friends in college, that they weren't forever friends. They were just temporary friends, if that. Amanda, growing up in a small town, didn't have access to big beauty stores, but when she went away to college, they opened the first Sephora near her, and she went and she got a job. She didn't work there very long. They ended up firing her because the schedule didn't fit with her school schedule. But while she was at Sephora, she was inspired. She was also inspired by beauty video creators that she was watching in her college dorm. So she decided in 2012 to start her own Instagram and YouTube channel.
Hey everyone! Today I'm doing a Kim Kardashian inspired makeup tutorial, but real quick I want to give a shout out to Kourtney Kardashian because she announced on Twitter that she's having a girl. I'm so excited for you. She's going to be beautiful. I just can't wait to see her. But enough about my obsession with Kardashians. I'm going to show you how to get this Kim Kardashian inspired makeup look, so let's get started.
She also got a very adorable dog named Molly. Molly is a part of a lot of her content, so I feel like it's really important to mention Molly. And also, I just want to show you Molly because she's absolutely adorable. Amanda's early content really followed the beauty guru playbook from back then. She used all of the products that the beauty gurus were using. She did the NuMe hair wand and the Makeup Geek eyeshadows and the whitening lightening lip glosses on the Bellamy hair. I mean, she did all of the things that the influencers were doing. Her channel was a mix of tutorials and reviews. Amanda's original channel name wasn't Amanda Ensing, but the Beauty Box 1211. And when Amanda got the most attention on her YouTube channel was when she was inspired by the Kardashians. Her very first video was a Kim Kardashian inspired look. Her first video to go viral was the one where she recreated Mario de Ivanovic's contouring technique that he had done on Kim Kardashian. Everybody originally saw it and they're like, oh my gosh, this looks absolutely nuts. That was the video that went viral for Amanda. And I don't want to take this from her. She was working hard. She was putting up a lot of content and not gaining a ton of traction, a modest amount of traction, especially for 2012 YouTube. By the end of her first year, she had 6,500 subscribers, which honestly is pretty respectable. And as her channel grew, brands started to notice, and Amanda started flying out to Los Angeles to attend beauty events. And at those beauty events, she met other beauty video creators that were huge at the time, people like Nicole Guerrero, Michelle Phan, and Bethany Moda. I thought it was super interesting that way back then, she was featured on Sigma's website. She even got a sweet PR deal with Garnier and then Bellamy Hair. But as Amanda started sharing a little bit more about who she was as a person, one thing that was extremely clear was that she was a woman of faith.
I was in church on Sunday, so I am Catholic, and I have a very strong personal relationship with God, but it wasn't until the last month that I started going to church again. I was pretty much only going like on holidays, and I felt really bad.
And when she went, she joined a women's group where she could do Bible study with other women, and that made her want to go back more. When she hit 100,000 subscribers, I mean, imagine 6,500 subscribers to 100,000 subscribers in a year is absolutely massive. But when she got to that milestone, she credited God, saying she was grateful to have a voice in the beauty industry. The tone of Amanda's channel was so sweet. It was pleasant. It was calm. She talked a lot about how much her subscribers meant to her. She said that she wanted people to feel comfortable coming to her channel, you know, just sit down, enjoy makeup with a friend, like a chit chat kind of situation where subscribers just could have a safe place to enjoy makeup. Another theme that we start to see develop in later 2013 is Amanda's boss babe mentality. In October 2013, she posted this on Instagram: look like a girl, act like a lady, think like a man, work like a boss. And I noticed these kinds of words being used often in her content around that time, from like 2013 to 2017. Gender seems to be really important to her, to be able to express that she is a woman, yet she is going to act like a man by being successful in business. She repeats this over and over again. And the thing was, she really was successful. She was really doing it. She had passed up law school to be a beauty creator, and it was working out for her. She said in a video that she was working 60 plus hours a week creating content and attending events and networking, and her platform was definitely growing. And by January of 2014, her Kim Kardashian contour video, the one I talked about earlier, that was the first video to hit 1 million views. By mid-2014, she was hosting meet and greets, and she was even featured on Kim Kardashian's blog. YouTube even invited her to teach a sponsored class on contouring based on her contour video. Another creator that had attended to teach was Michelle Phan. Her boyfriend Adam was a big part of her life at the time, but they weren't living together. And Amanda said that she just they both kind of agreed that they needed a little bit of space and that they couldn't really live together. It just wasn't a good match, but they were definitely still together. She did a lot of Q&As back then, and she was often asked, when are you going to get married? When are you going to have kids? It's like literally in every Q&A. And she said that she wanted to do all of that in her later 20s and then have 1 or 2 kids. But she says over and over again how much she feared childbirth, the pain of childbirth, how scared she was of that.
Do you want any kids? I've never been that person. Like, a lot of my friends are all like, I can't wait to have children. I want this many. I want them to name this. I have never been that person. I think kids are adorable. I think that I'll want to have them at some point. But in the near future, I don't really see kids in my future. And it's not like I don't like kids. I'm just very selfish, but not like in a mean way. Like, want to spend time with myself. Like, this is the time when I'm young and I want to concentrate on myself, on my career. I'm very career focused, and you know, I want to be married for a few years before I even think about having kids. Like, I want to enjoy my single life, and I think that I will want kids. Pregnancy process really scares me. Birthing a kid really terrifies me. Like, I'm not good with pain, so the pain really freaks me out. But I would say maybe when I'm around 29, 30, I would probably, like, that would be the ideal time in my head right now, thinking of when I want a kid. And I would say probably 2 kids.
But just like in high school and in college, finding friends in the beauty space was difficult for Amanda. She was attending all of these events. Like, she went to IMATS New York with Casey Holmes. It seemed like they were going to be friends, but it doesn't seem like that quite worked out. There's pictures of her with other influencers, Makeup Shayla and Jaclyn Hill, and but it seemed like she wasn't really finding that friend group that she wanted in the beauty space. In July of 2015, Adam and Amanda broke up, and she's kind of given hints as to why. The biggest one was in a Q&A when someone had asked her about why her and Adam had broken up, and she played the part of single ladies that says, if you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. So that might have been part of it, but she's never fully said exactly why they broke up. She just said later on that it was a pretty traumatic breakup. Now, having only the family ties in Tennessee and really wanting to grow her beauty career, really wanting to make friends in the beauty space, she decided to make the big move from Tennessee to Los Angeles by herself. Moving to Los Angeles would give her that opportunity to spend more time with these influencers that she admired.
I'm so excited to have like all kinds of food places to try and more fashion places, and like so many YouTubers are in LA that I'm friends with, and I never get to see them. I never get to talk to them. I don't go to events that often because I'm so busy with work, and it's pretty far. It's across the country. So I'm just ready for a new scene, and I'm ready to finally like just start my life. And I feel like I've never really fit in where I live. Like, I'm always just like the outsider in a sense, like no one really gets me, and I feel like every time I go to California, like I feel like I'm at home.
And she did. There's an Instagram post where she calls MannyMUA boo. There's a picture of her going shopping with Jaclyn Hill. She did a meetup with Katie and Desi. I mean, she put herself in the middle of all of that. Beyond the influencer connections, of course, she had to find things that made her personally happy. So she said she had to find 2 things. She had to find a gym and she had to find a church, and she was able to find both of those. And she was still posting about faith occasionally on her Instagram. She was also posting about being a boss babe. This quote actually made me laugh. I think it's kind of cute, but it's still like, pay attention to the way she talks about gender. She says, some of us are becoming the men we wanted to marry. And then another post that says, he asked me, what's your favorite position? I said, CEO. So Amanda's living her best life in Los Angeles. She's meeting creators, but not really making connections with them. She's creating a ton of content. She's going to a bunch of brand events. And I feel like at this time, the biggest benefit to Amanda in moving to Los Angeles was those brand connections. So for example, she did a beauty guru meetup with NYX Cosmetics. She was featured in Teen Vogue. She did her own meet and greets in New Jersey and Dallas. She visited the Tarte headquarters. She went to launch parties for Dose of Colors, Maybelline, and Makeup Geek. Amanda attended some of the most exclusive events in the beauty space of that time. She was at the Jaclyn Hill and Becca Champagne Glow collection launch party. She was at the Too Faced Sweet Peach launch party. She went to the ABH Halloween party. She was at all of these exclusive events. In June of 2017, Amanda hit 1 million followers on Instagram. The caption next to it, again, called back to her faith and her desire to inspire people. But it was definitely more than that, because she started also posting typical Los Angeles influencer stuff, like her car purchase. She bought a Mercedes-Benz GLE 43 coupe. I looked up to see how much this must have cost. At that time, they were around $70,000 to $80,000. Along with that, she posted a photo of her first Celine bag. So she really was getting ingrained in this influencer Los Angeles culture. The reason why I wanted to spend a good bit of time on Amanda's backstory is I really wanted you to get a feel for who Amanda presented herself to be in the beginning. Just really positive, really sweet, just do your makeup with me, we're friends, Q&As all the time. She did these Snapchat Q&As and talked about how her subscribers really helped her through things.
I just hope that some of my videos can inspire you and let you know that you're not alone, you're not going through things alone in your life. My first goal and my number one goal is to help people and change their lives. I sat on my phone and I replied to you guys for like 3 hours that night, and then I woke up and had so many more that I like sat there for like 2 hours in the morning and just like replied to you guys. Like I just love relating to you guys on that personal level, and the fact that you guys can come to me and ask me for relationship advice, I'm like, I mean, I feel honored, and I hope that I can help you.
It was very much a community vibe of, we're all friends here. This is a safe place. I care about you. You care about me. We care about each other. That was the vibe. She was the quintessential girl next door who makes it big in Los Angeles. People were rooting for her to succeed. However, I wouldn't have chosen this deep dive if it ended there. Soon a different side of Amanda was going to emerge, and some would say maybe this was the real Amanda slipping through. In the timeline of this video, we are at the holiday season of 2017 and Amanda is thriving. She has over 1 million followers on Instagram and YouTube. She has lucrative brand sponsorships. She's being invited to a ton of events. She's doing really well. To be clear, she's not the top of the beauty guru food chain, but she's there, she's present, and she's doing well. And Amanda had cultivated that super loyal fan base. So when James Charles launched Sisters Apparel, which was basically his merch line, he was doing really well with it. It seemed pretty natural for Amanda to start her own merch line. On November 23rd of 2017, just before Black Friday, Amanda launched the Amanda Shop. She was selling hats and shirts, and the hats had A-Team on them, which is what she called her subscribers. But it was this shirt right here that caused all of the controversy. You can see on the front, it has Amanda's signature, it's embroidered, it's got makeup on there, but the controversy surrounded the sleeve of the shirt. If you look at it, there are swatches on the sleeve, which is kind of cute. It's clever. It mimicked the way that we beauty reviewers reviewed makeup. A lot of times we would take the makeup, and people still do, take the eyeshadow and swatch it on our arms or the lipsticks or whatever. It's very clever. But the problem is that someone else had done this first. The exact Same thing first. There's a brand that still exists today called Skullhouse Designs, and it is owned by a woman named Kelsey Kinsman. She had launched this shirt in June of that year, and it sold out almost immediately because it is really cute. When you look at the side-by-side comparisons, they're exact copies. I mean, there may be slight variations in the tone of the shades due to whoever was printing them, but even the exact shapes of the swatches, they're the exact same thing in the exact same place. Like somebody literally ripped Kelsey's idea and put it on Amanda's merch. And this was the thing, and this has been the thing in the beauty space when this happens over and over, is that Amanda had millions of followers, and at the time, Skullhouse only had 12,000 followers. So naturally, the community saw this as a classic example of a big creator stealing from a small creator. When Kelsey found out about this, she went to Twitter, which Amanda was very active on at the time, and asked if she could DM with Amanda and talk things out. Amanda didn't respond. Instead of responding to Kelsey, she released a somewhat cryptic Snapchat.
Of course, there's negativity along with this, as always. When is there not negativity or drama in beauty, which is fine? There's always going to be someone trying to bring you down. There's always going to be someone trying to discredit you. That's just the way it is. And that's okay. You know, I'm okay if not everyone likes me. Not everyone's going to think I'm a good person. That's just life. But you can't let it get to you. You can't let it bring you down, because you got to keep doing your thing. You got to keep doing you. Your friends and family, like your real friends and your family, as long as they know who you are and the people you love know who you are, that's all that really matters. And if someone is going to see something online and assume without knowing, and they think I'm a bad person, I mean, you were never really a fan to begin with, in my opinion. People always want to assume the worst, and they'll think of you what they want to think of you. And that's okay. That's life. If I've learned anything being on social media, it's on that note, if you're commenting negative things, if you're commenting offensive things, you will be deleted and blocked. It's just the way it is. I don't care if it takes me days. I will delete and block every negative comment and offensive comment. That's just the way it's going to be, because I do not want negativity on my page, period. You guys know. And I'm not going to tolerate it. It's unacceptable. It doesn't matter how bad of a person you think someone is, or if you think they deserve it. No one deserves that. No one. And I will not tolerate it on my page. I've been working on this for so long, and one of my best friends helped me come up with a lot of ideas for this collection, and I'm so thankful for her. And me and all my friends, we all bounce ideas off of each other, and I have a team of designers. Like, I don't draw these designs, clearly. The only thing that I helped do was my signature, but I have a team of designers. I send them my ideas, my thoughts. They come back with samples, they come back with designs, and I approve or deny. Like, I would like to think I'm an artist, yes, maybe in makeup, but I am not a apparel design artist. Without the designers, I would not have anything, because I can't do any of that.
Needless to say, after seeing this, Kelsey was not happy, and she started sharing her side on social media.
I think what makes it even more frustrating is that I worked so hard on that shirt. Honestly, though, if that's how she wants to do her business, by copying someone else's work to make money, then that's how she can do it.
She put out there publicly, quote, "I worked so hard on that shirt made me want to start Skullhouse, and her swatches are an exact replica of mine." Then came another bombshell. This was a big era of drama channels, and when drama channels saw drama, they did the digging. And what they found was that one of Amanda's friends, her name is Mackenzie, she had followed Skullhouse's Instagram account. So the theory was that maybe Mackenzie had passed this idea to Amanda. Whether Amanda knew it was a copy or not, we will never know. But what we do know is that Kelsey and Amanda had the exact same name for this shirt, Swatch Queen. And as Kelsey began to speak out, influencers started taking notice. Raw Beauty Kristi was one of the most vocal influencers at the time, standing up for Kelsey. She said publicly, "I don't give a if you have 10 followers, 100,000, or 1 million, we should all be held to the same standards. Plagiarizing designs for profit and ignoring accusations is unacceptable. Creators like Brianna Fox, Stephanie Nicole, Jordan Hans, MannyMUA, Taylor Wynn, and Garrett Hahn also publicly called Amanda out. A lot of people even bought the Swatch Queen shirt. I am modeling it for you today because I bought one. Here are the infamous swatches on my wrist. But things get worse for Amanda because she decided that instead of posting an apology video, she was going to post not an apology video, which was very bad.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Amanda Ensing. Welcome. I just want to start off this video by saying thank you to everyone who has supported me throughout this whole merch launch. It was amazing. You guys are amazing, and I'm so thankful for your love and support. You guys know I would never intentionally hurt you or anyone else. And the person that was brought to my attention I had never heard of and didn't steal anything. And if someone thinks that I've taken something from them, they are more than welcome to reach out to my legal team with their copyright or trademark paperwork. You guys know I always link where I get inspiration from, and I would never steal something from someone else just to gain a profit. As I previously mentioned, I have a team that works with me in designing my merch. I also have friends, and we all bounce ideas and inspiration off of each other. However, social media has turned into this who can expose who and who can wait to see someone try and slip up. Newsflash, no one's perfect. So unless you're perfect, don't judge me. I know I don't have to prove anything to anyone, and I've shown you guys time and time again my heart and who I am, but this is for those of you who have supported and loved me. It doesn't matter how pure my intentions are, people are gonna believe what they wanna believe, and that's okay. Not everyone has to like me, but I know you guys know who I really am. I've dealt with disgusting comments every day for years, so this is nothing new to me. You can call me every name in the book, but it doesn't make you any better than what you think that I did. But don't be naive. People are so quick to victimize people when they don't know they're just using it for their benefit. People will do a lot of things for views and followers. I mean, that's the game now, right? You blame someone for something or you do something scandalous and you get tons of followers and views. And I've never been in the drama, and I don't want to be in the drama. I have been on the other side of the situation multiple times in my career, and I've never acted like this. Instead of putting all of your energy into attacking someone else, put it into yourself and do better. I will always treat you guys with the utmost respect, love, and compassion. And for those of you who are commenting these nasty things, I'm not mad at you. I'll pray for you and pray that the bitterness and hate can leave your heart. I mean, I can't imagine being in that much pain to comment these things on someone's page that you don't even know. I have always preached on women empowerment, and I intend to continue that because that is what I really believe in. So those of you commenting should know better. And for those of you who are suddenly attorneys, my legal team will be waiting because I will not be threatened and I will not be slandered. For all my new followers, I'm sorry you had to find me under these circumstances. I wish that they were under better circumstances, but welcome to the A-team. I want to close this video by thanking all of you again who have supported me and loved me throughout the years. I'm beyond grateful for you, and I will see you guys in my next video. God bless.
A group of creators joining together to call Amanda out and support Kelsey, followers, people that were part of the community, were also letting Amanda have it for this behavior and for how she was responding to it. One person said, always been a fan of Amanda, but this is so out of character from who I guess I thought she was. And this was out of character for Amanda. It was extremely out of character. She had presented herself as this sweet, caring person who really cared about community, and her response responses to this were so incredibly cold. Another of Amanda's subscribers, her name's Jessica, she tweeted, "I'm so disappointed. You've inspired me so much and I understand people make mistakes, but this video is cold and self-righteous. You didn't sound like the you I've watched for so long. Which version of you is authentic?" After watching all of this and kind of just forming my own opinion, I don't think Amanda knew that the design was stolen. I do think Mackenzie or someone else on her team did that. She had talked about how she didn't do the design. She just approved it. So they probably just put it all together, showed it to her. She was like, yay, cool, approved it. And then that was it. But it was Amanda's choice on how she wanted to respond to it. And it's possible that because Amanda had such difficulty making friends that she didn't want to throw her friend under the bus, that she was more afraid of losing that friendship than she was of losing followers. She was also living that boss babe mentality in Los Angeles, and a lot of that seemed to be infiltrating into her personality, so that may have been an influence as well. But this is the thing, and I was actually surprised to read this because I don't remember this happening. Apparently about 7 hours after everything blew up, Amanda had a change of heart. Maybe somebody that isn't a yes person went to her and was like, you know what? That was really messed up and you really should apologize, because Amanda put out publicly on Twitter, she said, "I'm so sorry for how everything was handled. I would never intentionally hurt you or steal from someone. I hope at Kelsey Kinsman and you all can forgive me. I can only learn from my mistakes." And then a few hours later, she added more to it. "Again, I'm very sorry and made a mistake. I could have handled it better and will learn moving forward from this situation." But there's another twist in that Kelsey responded to Amanda and was basically like, "I will forgive you if you refund everybody that ordered that shirt because you stole it from me." And you know what Amanda did after that? She blocked Kelsey. According to drama channel Rich Lux, he put up a video that said that Amanda lost about 8,000 subscribers in 2 days. It didn't continue after that, so she may have continued to leak subscribers, but she lost at least 8,000 subscribers due to this situation. So what I want to stress as the main thing we learned from the situation is that Amanda may not have been the person we thought she was. This may have just been the first time that the mask started to slip.
I pull out all the stops to make a profit. When I get down to the bottom, I need topping. Come here in these
After moving to Los Angeles, part of Amanda's story was being single. She even put up a video of her going on Tinder and trying to find somebody and not having any luck. She's like, "I'm just going to go on Tinder. I'm never going to meet my husband on Tinder, but, you know, I'll swipe a little bit and make some content out of it." During this time period, Amanda talked a lot about how empowering it was not to be in a relationship and how being in a relationship with yourself is so important. Respecting yourself and loving yourself and taking care of yourself is so important before you can get into a serious relationship. About a year and a half after Amanda and Adam broke up, Amanda posted this photo to her Instagram. And of course, everybody was like, "Ooh, who's that? Who's that? Who's that?" One person commented who they thought it was, and they tagged a person named Rafael Mayo. And of course, just to stress, Rafael's first and last name have been shared on Amanda's socials many, many times. Rafael is a Brazilian immigrant. He came to this country in 2010 to play soccer, and I guess that just didn't work out for whatever reason. And Amanda has said that he decided for a career he wanted to sell homes, so he got his realtor's license, and now he's a real estate agent. The story goes that they met at a Halloween party in 2016, but they didn't start dating right away. It took a few months for them to realize that they liked each other, and then quickly fell in love. When I tell you that 2017 was a big year for Amanda, it was a big year. And this was a great time for Rafael to join her life because he went with her everywhere. So for example, they took a private jet on the two-faced dime to Coachella. What? They went to BeautyCon, courtesy of Revlon. They went to Kim Kardashian's KKW beauty launch at her house. I can't even imagine what that was like for her. They went to Lake Tahoe with Benefit. They went to parties with NARS and People Magazine and a Vogue party in Beverly Hills. I mean, they went to all kinds of things. In April of 2017, Amanda moved from her apartment to a big house in Los Angeles. Through everything, we still see that consistent theme of faith and being a boss babe. Still part of who Amanda is. She was at Coachella during Easter weekend, and she took time out of Coachella to post about Easter, saying, "You are loved more than you will ever know by someone who died to know you. Happy Easter from Coachella, having the best time with Too Faced and Key Australia," which is a sunglasses company that has connections with Morphe, but that's another story. As a side note, that year she did collaborate with James Charles. She hinted later that she had done a collaboration with an influencer and that influencer was just using her. I wouldn't be surprised if it was James that she was talking about.
Hi sisters! James Charles here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you can see, I'm joined with a very, very special guest today, one of my best friends in the entire world, Amanda Ensing! Woo!
So excited to be here.
Amanda and I have been friends for a very, very long time, and we've been trying to film for a very, very long time, and today we are finally sitting down and doing so. Thank God. If you guys don't know who Amanda is, she is an amazing beauty guru on YouTube, but she's also one of my closest friends. We have been friends for a very, very long time, and like I said, we've been trying to film, has never worked out until today, so we're finally coming to you with this video. She has done with me through so much, she's given me so much advice and helped me through a whole lot of boy stuff. Anna and I have had so many late night, 2-hour-long FaceTime calls where she's just like, "Listen, James, get your shit together."
As a clue to her mindset during this time, in October, she posted saying, quote, "The goal is to be valuable, not successful. When you're valuable, you don't have to chase success. It will attract itself to you." Put that in your back pocket for later, because I do think that this is a clue into what her mindset was at this time. Her New Year's recap again mentions her expectations versus reality when it came to friendships in the beauty space. She said, "I realized what people meant when they said to watch your back. I had my heart broken and trust shattered despite the storms. God always has a bigger plan. Every time I thought I had lost something, he replaced it with something better." So moving into 2018, Amanda and Raphael continue their brand trip journey. They're going to Big Sur with Fresh. They're going to Paris Fashion Week. They're going to Toronto with Bite Beauty. They go to Paris again with Benefit. They go to Ibiza with NARS. They go to Miami with BoxyCharm. I mean, they're going everywhere. She also got a second dog, which, again, not really that important to the story, but this dog is so darn cute. Her name is Aspen, and she's adorable. And of course, she fell more and more in love with Raphael. For his birthday, she posted, "The last year has been filled with laughs and tears, ups and downs. We were tested at every turn, but despite the challenges, we always had God and each other. I've never met a more loyal and loving man. Your commitment to the pups, me, and your family never ceased to amaze me." I'm not going to pick on it. "I wouldn't trade our sushi and Netflix nights for anything. My favorite spot is in your arms, and I'm beyond thankful God placed you in his story. I can't wait to see how you grow this year, how God shapes you and directs your steps. What we have isn't perfect. It's real. Cheers to you, babe. May God bless everything you do. I love you and your soul." But of course, like she said, no relationship is perfect. And we got an insight into who Raphael was as a person, thanks to a drama channel named Here for the Tea. It's June 2018, and Raphael is on his Instagram stories, and he made a big mistake thinking because he was speaking in Portuguese that no one would know what he was saying, but he underestimated people like Sam from Here for the Tea, because if you're not familiar with her and who she was, Sam was a sleuth, a true sleuth, and if she thought there was a story somewhere, she would do whatever it took to get that story, and she had very loyal followers that were very willing to help her to do anything she needed in order to get that story. And apparently she had a follower that spoke Portuguese, because one of her followers translated what Raphael said, and it was really, really bad.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to discuss Amanda Ensing's boyfriend Raphael Mayo's disturbing Instagram rants. Let me preface his rants by inserting a trigger warning here. His rants include racist remarks, violence, reference to and footage of weapons and associated paraphernalia, so if you're uncomfortable with any of the aforementioned, please click off now. One last thing, the rants are in Portuguese, which I had translated to English. I'm going to play the rant followed by the English translation just so you guys see everything in its entirety. The first rant is dated May 1st, 2018.
Caralho, irmão, 8 da manhã eu já tomei uma multa. É a 7ª esse mês. Tem 7 multas desse mês. Que o carro tá sem placa. E o policial fica perguntando por que tá sem placa. Eu tô dando com os vizinhos aqui de novo, entendeu? Já faz uns dias aí ela Fica pedindo pra mim abaixar minha música. Eu não tô mentindo, ó. Esse aqui é um aviãozinho que ela jogou lá, ó. Aí, ó. Oi. Parceiro, chegamos aqui na parada pra dar uns tiros. Quem trouxe comigo aqui é o Albert. É, Albert, cuidado, senão eu tiro você aí, pastel. Aí, parceiro, o cara lá ele não deixa dar tiro no bilhete da mulher, entendeu?
Now, as a side note, Raphael does respond to this, and he admits that the translation that Here for the Tea got was almost spot on accurate. We'll talk about the one little inaccuracy in a second, but overall, just know that the translation, Raphael even admitted, was accurate. I will link Sam's video down below in case you would like to watch the whole thing in both Portuguese and the translation in English, but the relevant points, oh my gosh, okay, basically, this is what happened. He had just gotten his 7th ticket for not having license plates, and he was very upset about this. He called the police officers strange animals with trash jobs who make no money. He also said, and this is shocking and horrible and awful, he said he hoped that the officer would be shot and die and go to hell with his ticket. Yes, that's what he said. So for context, Amanda's brother's a police officer, so needless to say, this did not go over well with her, and apparently they had a huge fight over it.
And my brother found out. My brother is a police officer. Like, I respect cops so much. And whenever we found out, Raphael and I got in a huge argument about it. I wasn't okay with it. My brother wasn't okay with it. And it was a huge thing. And we moved forward. We worked on it. And they were not okay. And he took those videos down that day. Those videos were only up for a short amount of time.
But I know you don't think it could get worse, but it does get worse. It's awful. There is a second clip that was translated, and it's about a feud with their neighbor. So apparently, since they moved to this house in Los Angeles, the next door neighbor has complained over and over again about Raphael and Amanda being too loud, especially by the pool, playing loud music with cussing and all of that. And they just didn't like to hear that during the day. And they kept asking them, can you please turn your music down? Can you please stop being so loud? But in the middle of the day, most areas will back up people's right to be however loud they want within the waking hours of the day. And that was Raphael and Amanda's argument. But the thing is, in my opinion, that even though you have a right to do something, it doesn't necessarily mean that you should. It seems like this request to be quiet just made Raphael turn the music up louder and be even more vulgar just to mess with the next door neighbors. So the next door neighbors had a very interesting idea. They put a message, it looks like written by a child, on paper airplanes. And they threw the paper airplanes over the fence, asking them once again to please be a little more quiet. In response to this, Raphael says that they got a lawyer involved for harassment, saying the neighbors were harassing them and wouldn't stop telling them to turn down the music when they were fully in their rights. So they tried to get their lawyer involved to get them to stop bothering them about the loud music. He also said that the mother would look over the fence and invade his privacy when he was in his bathing suit. But what pushed Raphael over the edge, he said, was that he and Amanda were out at lunch and they got a phone call from their lawn guy that mows their lawn. And the guy was like, hey, your neighbor's telling me that I can't mow the lawn until 1 o'clock. So what do you want me to do? And Raphael was like, just keep mowing the lawn, finish doing what you're doing, just ignore her. So they leave lunch, they come home, and there's a police officer outside their house. And according to the translation, this is what Raphael said. He said, you have to be really arrogant with these guys or else guys will abuse their power, meaning the police officer. So he gets in this back and forth with the police officer, and the police officer is like, hey, can you turn the music down? And he's like, I'm within my rights. And the officer says, well, if you don't turn the music down, I may come back and serve you a fine for your loud music. And Raphael's like, I don't care. I'll just pay the fine. It's really not a big deal. I have money. I'll just pay for it if you do that. This is when it really gets wild. So Raphael says he talked to the dad who lived next door, and he was like, hey, your wife has been looking over at me in my Speedo, and I think she likes it. So you may want to tell her to stop looking at me. Raphael laughs this off. He apparently thinks this is hilarious. And then he talks about the notes that look like they were written by a child asking for the music to be turned down. And he says he wants to take those notes to the shooting range. He wants to shoot them with a gun and then give them back to the neighbors. Then it cuts to him actually being in the shooting range, and you can see the notes next to him that he had planned to shoot them. Then the video cuts to him being in his car, and he explains that the people at the shooting range wouldn't let him shoot the notes, and he was disappointed in that. So Sam from Here for the Tea puts all of this together in a video, and she puts it out publicly, and apparently this caused a huge fight between Raphael and Amanda. So Raphael had to come on his Instagram in English and just kind of talk about what happened. At least I guess he felt like he had to. And this is where the mistake in Sam's video comes in, because apparently Sam had translated something incorrectly. She had it translated to Portuguese, but there was a dialectical issue where he's Brazilian and their dialect is just a little bit different than traditional Portuguese. So she thought that he had said something about black people when really he was just saying things about people. So even though Sam had already gotten a lot of views on the video, she decided to take it down, edit that part out, and put it back up because she didn't want something in the video that was inaccurate. So Raphael addresses this.
So the video obviously was, I was speaking Portuguese, but the translation that she did was pretty accurate, I would say. Everything that she translated was almost perfect. 99% was. She just made one mistake on that video when she said that I talked about black people in the streets. That was the only thing that was wrong, and she called me racist, which is not true. I mean, I used a word in Portuguese that it can mean people of color, but in that context that I used, it just means people in the street in general. So that doesn't make me a racist. So in fact, I have somebody in my family that is black. So you can call me anything in your video. Disgusting, douchebag, it's fine. I may even agree, but don't call me racist, because that's not how I am. That's not who I am. So to sum up this video, whatever I said to that police officer was very bad, was not human, was very immature of me, but I'm not a racist person. I have a lot of black friends and I love them, and I don't ever put them down or talk shit about them. Amanda even jokes with me because everywhere we go and there's a black person, whatever we go, we just get along so well, and I don't know why, they're just so cool with me, and she feels like you get along with them. Or even when we go to parties, she sees me like hanging out with them, because I mean, they got personality. They don't give a fuck. They will smoke a blunt in the club. They will do this. They will dance funny because they give no fuck, and that's how I like.
You have probably clocked this in Raphael's explanation, but in case you did not, saying that you have black family or black friends 100% does not guarantee that you are not racist. So that was a moment. In my opinion, though, the worst part of what Raphael said was the stereotypes he threw out there about being around black people, talking about how they smoke weed and they dance and how they don't give a fuck and all this stuff. It's extremely stereotypical. And the fact that he said Amanda's like, you're always hanging out with black people, like, why do they like you so much? It's like, it's awful. In my opinion, this is absolutely disgusting. And the fact that he says Amanda was reinforcing these stereotypes as well, and they're kind of joking about it, shows me that if this happened the way Raphael said it did, that she's ignorant as well. He also responded to Sam, calling him out about wanting to shoot the letters that looked like they were written by a child. This is what he had to say about that.
But again, it doesn't justify the fact that I got those letters and I wanted to go to shooting range and shoot them. It was bad, but I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not breaking the law. I didn't do anything wrong. And
I agree with Sam's analysis here that just because something is legal doesn't mean it isn't messed up. And wanting to shoot a child's drawing and then give it back to the parents, to me, is a direct threat. If I had had that happen to me and I had small children, I would be absolutely terrified. Amanda also responded to Sam's video. Here are some relevant clips of that.
The things that Raphael said were not okay. They weren't appropriate. I don't agree with them. And I don't want you guys to think that that's something that I'm okay with or that I agree with. Like, I love him, but I also know that it's not okay and they're not acceptable. And these are things that him and I have talked about. And I know he feels bad for it, but I do want to apologize to you guys because I never want you guys to think that that's the type of person that I am and that his actions represent my character and represent who I am, because they don't. I'm not that person. Also, he's not that person, and I know that it makes him look Like, it puts him in a negative light, and that sucks because I see who he is, and all you guys see are like a couple videos. Raphael is always there to stand up for me when someone makes me upset or is mean to me, and he always defends me, and it's not always the best way that he defends me, and I don't always agree with it, and he knows that because he tends to get a little bit heated and a little bit upset, and he can go off, and I'm not okay with that. I don't agree with that, and that's stuff that he has to work on, and it doesn't justify what he did. Nothing justifies what he said. Trust me, I agree, but he's a good person, and it sucks that it only shows those videos and that's all you guys are getting to see. Like, I get how I would react if I saw those videos, so I understand, but it's not okay, and we're working on it. When it comes to the neighbor stuff, I'm not going to go into it, but these people have been harassing us for 10 months, and I just ignore them, and they yell at me, and they say stuff to us all the time. They bang on the wall. It's super annoying. I've actually filed a letter for them for harassment because they will not leave us alone. Like, they come and bother anyone who's over at the house. They come and talk to the garden crew. It's a whole thing. But as far as like firearms go, firearms are very serious. Guns are very serious. We have our license. We don't take them lightly. So he shouldn't have showed it like that. And I'm so sorry you guys had to see that. That was not okay, and it wasn't cool. I like to keep my platform beauty, fashion, lifestyle. But I don't want you to think that's the kind of person I am, or even the type of person that he is, because he's not that person. Like, I always see the best in people, and I didn't fall in love with that person. And again, it's sad that that's the light he's being portrayed in, because those were his actions, but that's not who he is as a person. I really just wanted to say I'm sorry, and I apologize, and I apologize for me, I apologize for him. I know I didn't do anything, but he's my boyfriend, and I'm just sorry that you guys were exposed to that, because we're dating, so anything he does reflects on me.
I have several issues with Amanda's response. You probably do too. What I'm picking out right away is this whole, I don't condone his behavior, but this isn't who he is. This might be mean, but I don't believe her. I don't believe this isn't who he is. When he said those words in Portuguese, he was clear. He was very relaxed. His guard was down. Like, I believe this is exactly who he is, but now that it's affecting her dollar, her money, it's not good for her, so she's got to say something. And the second part is her excusing away his behavior. Well, he has a temper, and, they've been harassing us for months and also, I don't care. Honestly, I don't care. That does not excuse this kind of behavior. You have a right to be irritated. You have a right to be upset. You have a right to try to solve it in different ways, but the way he chose to go about it is wrong. It's still not okay to want to shoot a child's drawing and then give it to the parents. That is disgusting behavior. I don't care what the neighbors did. I mean, I'm glad she said it's something he needs to work on, because I couldn't agree more on that. But I just, I guess it's another one of those things where she's had so much trouble making friends, and she finally has this boyfriend that she's in love with, and she's trying not to throw him under the bus, but kind of deserved it. And one thing that she shows us here that she showed a little bit in the Kelsey situation was her desire to just dismiss people's valid concerns and emotions. She is starting to do that more by saying things like, I know people will believe what they want to believe, and he always defends me. I feel like this is a ploy to manipulate her followers, that she's trying to be like, well, you just don't know him, and, he just loves me, and that's why he does these things. And that doesn't excuse it, though. That's the thing, is it doesn't excuse it. He was completely out of line, and there's no justification for what he did. I do want to give her credit where credit is due, that she does apologize for his behavior, and she does say that he needs to work on it, and that he needs to get better at it and all of that, and she admits that it's bad. So I give her credit there. But the smattering of justification throughout of her trying to make excuses for him just feels really manipulative, and that she's trying to soften the blow with her subscribers to give them an excuse to still like him. Well, you just don't know him like I do. But then there was one more piece of Sam's video that was kind of a bombshell, in that she said that she had edited out part of the original video of Raphael at the shooting range. It was a video of a woman shooting at the same range on the same day, and you can see the notes from the child on the table.
Amanda also went on to tweet that she's not okay with Raphael's actions and that they don't reflect on her, but she was a party to his actions. Here's where I was off my game. However, I'm kind of happy it worked out this way, because it just goes to show how absolutely full of shit she is. So in my previous video, I cut footage out of Raphael's story because it showed a woman shooting off a gun at the range, and as I said earlier, I just felt uneasy showing same on my channel. However, it is necessary to do so, being that I believe the footage reveals that Amanda co-signs Raphael's behavior. Again, you guys, if you're uncomfortable with firearms, please click off now. This is presumably Amanda shooting at the range with Raphael. Look what's in clear view right beside her, the paper airplane note from the neighbor, which Raphael took there with the intent to shoot it up and return back. She knew what was going on, she cannot say she didn't. Raphael even said in my previous video that he put the note up to shoot at, but the attendant at the range flashed a light on him and told him he wasn't allowed to, so where was Amanda then? Is she gonna say she didn't know? Because I find that very hard to believe. In her response/apology, she made no mention of the fact that she was by Raphael's side when he intended to carry out his intimidation tactic on the neighbor. Being that she's always got an excuse for everything, I'd like to hear how she's gonna get out of this one.
It looks to me, and it looked to Sam, like that was Amanda. So in that, if this is Amanda and those are the notes from the child on the table, then she did not stop him from his plan to terrorize this family next door. She may have even condoned it and helped him to justify it. We just don't know. But what we do know is that she didn't stop him.
Carve it in and I'll make you feel like you're on a cloud and you can't sit still when we on the...
As 2018 rolled on, Amanda again posted for Easter. He has risen, happy Easter. And then she put in a little playful note, hope you ate lots of peeps, super cute. But alongside the faith-based posts and the boss babe posts were new types of posts. The I don't give a kind of posts, the I don't care posts started to increase. In October, she posted, if it's not making me a better person, making me money, or making my booty grow, I don't have time for it. And by December, the mindset was even more direct, saying, as long as my highlight is popping and my bank account is growing, I could care less. In the early 2019, Amanda got her first big gig with a brand where she became one of the faces of the brand. It was with Morphe for their foundation launch. And if you were around during that time, you may remember that this foundation was universally disliked by pretty much everybody. It was very full coverage. People said that it was dry and that it was cakey and it just didn't look good on the skin. People also criticized the odd shade range, saying that it was very imbalanced and that the undertones were weird. There were just lots of issues that people had with this range. Even though there were a lot of shades, it seemed like the choices were just odd. So Amanda, having been in the ad campaign for this, did a review of the product.
Even though I was part of the campaign, this video is not sponsored. This review is 100% honest. I'm going to tell you guys how I feel, give you a lot of information about the product, and then you can try it and then you can decide for yourself whether it is something you want to pick up. I totally understand that when it comes to beauty, people are going to have a lot of opinions. That's how it is. However, I feel like the last few months, it has just been like insane. Like it's just so much negativity all the time with any product. Like I will literally see any product launch and it's hundreds of just negative comments, which is definitely something I hope that changes this year. Probably won't. I feel like everyone is ready to just tear down a product as soon as it comes out, and makeup is supposed to be fun. And one thing to keep in mind is not every product is gonna work for everyone. That's just the truth. One of the biggest selling points to me in deciding if I was going to be a part of this was the shade range. They had told me that there was going to be 60 different shades. Last year was huge for the beauty community. I feel like a lot of people were starting to wake up and starting to realize that it's been an issue for a long time that there aren't a huge range of shades for a lot of brands. Me in particular, like within the last couple of years, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a huge issue. And before, like a couple of years ago, this wasn't something that was on my radar because I've never had to struggle finding my shade. And so once the conversation got going, I feel like the beauty community started to take a step in the right direction for trying to include everyone. I have seen people talk about this foundation saying like, oh, all the undertones are off or they're too orange, blah, blah, blah. Being really real, the same people I've seen talking bad about this foundation will use brands when all of their foundations are orange or they're all yellow. So I feel like when I see certain people review stuff, I'm like, you literally use orange foundation every single day and now you're hating on something that looks way better. Anyways, that's a talk for another day. The two shades that I go in between are 2.5, this is an olive shade, and 2.2, which is a neutral shade. I think this is the one I'm going to use today. This is 2.2. And this is the olive one. You can see it has more of a green undertone. So I'm gonna use this little palette and I'm gonna mix the foundation in 2.2, so just about a dime amount. And I'm only gonna put a few drops of this in the foundation just because I like a really hydrating foundation. It's not really fair for me to just apply this on my skin, especially if I'm feeling more dry, and expect it to work because I have drier skin. So if you have dry skin and you just apply this without moisturizing and making sure that you're hydrated, it's not gonna work for you. It's gonna emphasize your dry patches and you're gonna hate it. All right, this is one layer. And I'll tell you right now, before the foundation ever even sets, none of my pores look emphasized. It doesn't look drying on my skin because I prepped my skin. I used a moisturizer before, and then I used the revitalizing primer, and then I used the beauty oil mixed in the foundation. And you might think, Amanda, that seems like a lot of work. But I am like this with every product that I use. Like, I want to make the product work for my skin. If this is too much for you, if you don't want to use like a beauty oil, if you're dry, or if you don't want to, you know, prep your skin first, then I would say it's not going to work for you.
I can't say for sure it was biased, but it feels real biased. Like, she talks about how, you know, she just adds a beauty oil to the foundation to make it less dry. Like, why can't you just do that to make it better? Like, it's like, you shouldn't have to. You know, one person commented on how she was saying, you know, that there's so much negativity surrounding the foundation launch. And the person said, it's not negativity, it's how the product is performing on people who are reviewing it. I'm sure if it was amazing, then reviewers would say how amazing it is. Isn't that the whole point of reviewing a product? And then another person said, if there are 60 shades, why did you have to mix 2 shades? With concealers as well, what's the point of having so many shades if you still have to mix? Great point. So that started getting people thinking about, is Amanda even a credible makeup reviewer anymore? Like, what is going on with her? In February of 2019, she's saying again, I'm not making any friends in Los Angeles.
Also, it's been really hard to make friends in LA. I have a few friends like in the industry that I'll hang out with that are other YouTubers and they're the best. But in general, I just feel like I don't have a lot in common with a lot of people in beauty. Not that that's a bad thing, I just don't. I feel like I'm into very different things. And doing YouTube, like working so much by myself in a studio on social media, it's not easy to go out and make friends. And if you've ever been to a beauty event or you see people, it's so different in person than it is on Snapchat or Insta Story. It's just very competitive and I don't like that. So I'd rather just do my own thing and be happy. So, I mean, it's been hard to make friends in LA, 100%. And I'm sure you've seen a lot of people who live here talk about that.
And she continues with her whole, I don't care. She's got this post that says, passionate, but I don't give no f***s. But brands were still inviting her places. She went to Morocco with Fresh. She went to a Dior party. She's still posting the whole thing about money. Like, for example, she's got this one that says, don't check for me unless you got a check for me. I mean, what kills me about this is that early Amanda would have roasted 2019 Amanda because she used to be very critical of people like this that were all about the money and didn't care about community. And now she has become one of those people. Now, let's pause one more time before I tell the next story because I want to just quickly remind you of how much the Kardashians have played into Amanda's growth on social media. Her very first video was a Kim Kardashian tutorial. Her first video to hit 1 million views was a Mario de Ivanovic, aka Kim Kardashian contouring routine. She had gone to the KKW launch party at Kim's house. She had been using KYLIE cosmetics. I mean, she's clearly invested in the Kardashians. So it seemed a bit odd when she personally and specifically attacked Kylie Jenner underneath one of her posts. This is where it started. Here's the post that Amanda put up from her time in Mexico. That's Amanda with the big floppy hat. And here is a photo that Kylie posted not long after. You can see that there are similarities with the two pictures, but they're not exact copies. And to be 100% with you, like trying to be as unbiased as possible, this is not an original idea. This is not a concept that has never been done before. But Amanda is strategic and she's smart. And I guess she's just like, fuck it. and she posted on Kylie's post, "This photo looks awfully familiar," to which Kylie responded, "From the words of Kim K, you're not on my mood board, but I did get my inspo off Pinterest." And honestly, considering what she did with exactly ripping the Swatch Queen swatches from Kelsey, I think it's pretty rich of her to accuse Kylie of stealing her photo. Let's just say that Kylie did copy Amanda. What Amanda did to Kelsey was 10 times worse because she ripped Kelsey's art and then profited off of it directly. So it just seems so hypocritical to me that she went after Kylie for this. And I'm not a Kardashian fan. I don't think I've ever even seen a full episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I've just seen clips. I don't really care. I'm just saying that I think that it's ridiculous that she's going after Kylie about this. That's just my opinion. As we wrap up 2019, I want to show you a clip of a Q&A that Amanda did that she posted in December. And she's talking about what she would tell herself if she could go back to Amanda that was starting her YouTube channel in 2012. What would she say to her?
I started my channel at a time that I was very hurt and very lost. I wish I knew that being myself was enough. That is the scariest part still, I think, for anyone turning on a camera, is like, will people like me? Whether you're extroverted or introverted or somewhere in the middle, there are people out there just like you. And, you know, when I started, I thought I needed to be a certain way because that's what people who were successful were like that. And I was like, well, you know, maybe I can't be who I am because people won't like me. I just wish I knew being me was enough.
I really do feel like at this point, any kindness that Amanda had when she started her YouTube channel was completely gone. Her caring about community, her sweetness, her girl next door feel, all of that was gone.
My first goal and my number one goal is to help people and change their lives. And I know that sounds super corny, but like whenever I meet you guys and I get messages from you saying that I change your life or I help you every day and stuff like that, and it's just makeup, like, that's why I do what I do, because I want my channel to be a happy place, but I really want to help people, and I hope that on this platform I've been able to help some people, and I hope that I can do even more awesome things in the future to help people. My second goal would be to be a good person. Like, that's something that's really meant a lot to me the past year, is to like truly, deeply treat people with respect, treat people good, be a good person, and be someone that people want to be around. And I'm just on this journey of I don't really give a anymore. I don't care what people think of me, and neither should you. And it took me a very long time to get there, especially with 2020. Like, this year has been so crazy. I don't want to let other people or what I think other people think of me dictate what I do. If you think I'm a bad person, that's on you. It says more about you than me, because obviously you don't know me. Without social media, a lot of y'all wouldn't know me. So I think it's so awesome, and I do take it like seriously. So I want to break the chains off of me of feeling like I need to talk this way or be this way. I feel like for a long time I haven't been myself. I've been convincing myself that I am being myself. I feel like I let all these insecurities and things in my head get to me, and then I end up being a version of myself, but not truly myself. So I'm ready to start like being me and not caring if people like it or not.
That being said, what Amanda chose to do next was a switch up that I don't think anybody expected.
On them force and you use the force, there's no problem. I will carve it in.
Despite, or maybe because of her attitude change, Amanda continued to thrive in the beauty space and continued to go on these elaborate brand trips. I mean, this was the heyday of brand trips. And I didn't know Bellamy Hair had a yacht, but apparently they did, because Amanda was on the yacht. This is in Sicily, but this video that she shot for this brand trip is pretty wild. It's very well shot. It's very luxurious and sexy, and it's very the culmination of the influencer version of Amanda. In the beginning of 2020, she still had that boss babe persona. She posted things like, while some women are searching for a rich husband, I'm focusing on being a rich wife. I'd rather struggle every day of my life than ever give a man the power to say, you wouldn't have that if it wasn't for me. So visualize your highest self, then start showing up as her.
I love men. I think men are the coolest, but you don't really need them to live. My mom said to me, you know, sweetheart, one day you should settle down and marry a rich man. And I said, Mom, I am a rich man.
And she went on even more brand trips. She went to Japan with Benefit Cosmetics. She went to the Netflix premiere of Lock and Key. She also attended Jaclyn Hill's infamous Halloween party where she wore the canceled dress. And in early March of 2020, Amanda upgraded her car to a new Mercedes G-Wagon. I looked at the price of this. This was probably about a $150,000 purchase. I mean, she's riding high. She's doing super well. But we all know what happened in March of 2020. Everything shut down. And I don't know if that was the catalyst for Amanda making a huge flip or what. All I know is we didn't see the big change quite yet. There was a pandemic version of Amanda that I want to share with you. And that pandemic version of Amanda was very much shaped by another big move. Her and Raphael decided to move from Los Angeles back home to Tennessee. She did film a few videos during that lockdown time period, again, reinforcing and talking about how she didn't have any friends in Los Angeles. This clearly bothered her because she brings it up over and over again.
Before I get into the video, I just want to say I am thinking of all of you. I hope you're all staying safe and well. This is a really difficult time for our world. I will never take for granted again going out to eat, going to the mall, just going to do daily things. If you're able to stay at home, please stay at home and please take this seriously. This is very serious. Also, a huge shout out to all of our healthcare workers, our grocery store workers, our law enforcement, everyone in sanitation, like everyone that is just helping us stay safe, our mail workers. There are so many businesses that are still open, that have to be open so the country and that the world can run. So a huge shout out to them. I just felt like, even though I had great friends in LA, I always felt alone when it came to friends. LA is a very tough place to make friends. You know, when I moved to LA, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be friends with this YouTuber and this YouTuber, and you know, we're gonna collab and be friends, because that's what the beauty industry used to be. When I moved to LA, a lot of people I used to follow and watch, I met them in real life and I would see them more often at events, and just didn't know that so much of social media was so produced. I feel like a lot of people like toxic relationships or relationships for clout. That's not what I'm about. I was not willing to use people to get to the top and step on whoever I need to step on. And trust me, I've had a lot of people use me and throw me out like yesterday's garbage whenever they pass me in followers or when they got what they wanted from me. I learned really quick.
Amanda uploaded this gorgeous sponsored video for her self-tan company. It is beautifully done. It shows her going on a picnic with Raphael, and it's so peaceful. And during this time, she's talking about social distancing, and she's talking about wearing a mask and how it's important to keep each other safe. She also uploaded a video called Why I Haven't Been Myself, and I want to play a bit of it for you because I really do feel like this is the precursor to her completely flipping the script in a few months.
I haven't really been that satisfied or happy with my content for years now. And it's not a bad thing. I feel like as a creator, you're always pushing yourself and, you know, not being satisfied with what you're doing and always being like, how can I step up my game? How can I one up myself is what pushes you to, you know, create better content. I've done a lot of makeup tutorials, like a lot of makeup videos. And I feel like I no longer need to prove myself as a makeup artist or as a beauty girl, you know, like I know that I have had my time doing that. I'm not saying that I'm not gonna do beauty anymore. I just want to offer you guys so much more, and I feel like I can do so much more than makeup. Makeup and beauty will forever be my passion. It was the first thing I was ever passionate about in my life, but I want to do things bigger on a bigger scale, and I want to talk about inner beauty things and do more motivational videos and more vlogs and just bringing you guys into my life more. I am embarking on this new journey with my content. I've kind of tried to experiment a little bit here and there since I've moved. I've been doing a lot of more soothing meditation type of beauty videos, you know, that are more empowering. And I feel like especially at a time like this, we could all use that. I know that so many of you actually care about me, just as I care about you, but it's, you know, it's an insecurity of mine. I don't know. I'm in this weird stage in my late 20s where I feel like I've been doing so much soul searching and just figuring out like who I am. And I think figuring out who you are is a lifelong journey. I am trying to be more confident in things don't need to be glam all the time. Probably gonna regret wearing this like Fenty, it's one of their new cream lipstick things. I don't know what they're called, but I'm probably gonna regret wearing this because of the mask. Obviously when you're eating, you don't have to wear the mask, which is cool, but everywhere else I'm gonna be wearing my mask.
Okay, so after this, girl snapped. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was COVID. I don't know if it was the election. I don't know what happened, but she snapped. On November 1st of 2020, Amanda uploaded this video. It was called The Art of Being Unbothered, and there's a clear tone shift happening here. She still exudes the same confidence, but now there's a little bit of a preachy tone to it. Of course, other people's opinions of you are none of your business, all of that. Yes, absolutely. I mean, if everywhere you go, people don't like you, then maybe it's something you should look internally and think, is there something to this? Is there something that I'm doing that's putting people off?
I like to think that I've mastered the art of being unbothered. I am a very unbothered person, and that bothers a lot of people. I came to the realization that when you are an unbothered person, you live for yourself, you live your life, you're happy, you deal with the bad seasons and the good seasons, you know, you just deal with your life and you make the best of it. People really don't like that. Enjoy standing up for what you believe in and doing what you want with your life is always gonna come with criticism. The only way to avoid criticism is to do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. And that is a famous quote from Aristotle. There are so many people in this world, like millions and millions of people. And the thing you need to realize is you don't need all of them or everyone to like you. You don't even really need a large percentage of people to like you. You really only need to like you. You need to love yourself and to like yourself, and the people who are there for you and that align with you and support you will come to your life. And in order for them to feel better about themselves, they're gonna try to bring you down. But baby, if they're trying to bring you down, they're already below you. People don't pay attention to things that they hate. And that is something that I think of very often when it comes to my job and to putting my life on social media. Do you pay attention to something you hate? You know, if you're gonna go to get your nails done, do you look at all the colors that you don't like? No, you're looking at the colors you like. If I'm going in for brown or nude nails, I'm not gonna be staring at the reds and the purples talking about how much I don't like them. I'm gonna look at the browns and nudes. So when people are hating on you, often they don't really hate you. They secretly really like you, and they see something in you, whether it's physically, whether it's a trait or a characteristic. There's something about you that they secretly want. They just don't really know it yet. Stop apologizing for everything. A unbothered bad does not apologize for being themselves. If you are following what you believe you're supposed to be doing with your life, that's really all that matters.
Like she's saying in the video, yes, we definitely give attention to things that we dislike and negativity. I mean, the phenomenon of rage baiting is huge for a reason. But genuinely, my favorite part of this is when she talks about being 100% authentic and being yourself. And really and truly, I couldn't agree more with that point. Analogy-wise, if this was Amanda dipping her toe into the unbothered pool, she was about to dive headfirst into said pool because her next video was just 8 days later, and it was in the same series called Coffee and Inspiration, but this one was different. It was called What's Next for America. The video starts off with a plea for anybody watching to check the links in the video description to learn more about anything she's about to say in the video. Then she talks about how she's never talked about politics on her channel before and how it's been important to her to keep that off of her channel because she knows that it can be divisive. And like she said many times, she said she wanted her channel to be a place of light, love, and positivity, and of course not to divide people, but something had kind of pushed her over the edge. And about 3 minutes into the video, the tone shifts significantly.
I remember saying, I will never talk about politics on my platform. Not because I didn't want to tell people who I support or who I vote for, but because I feel like politics is divisive. And my goal on my platform has always been to share love, light, positivity, and bring people to God. If you would have told me in the beginning of the year I would be making this video right now, I would have been like, no way. I want to share some hope and faith with you guys today in a minute, because God has moved in extraordinary ways in my life this week. There is so much I want to share with you and so much I want to say, and I hope you leave this video feeling empowered. But before I get into that, I just want to say I vote based off of facts, policy, and my Christian. I vote with what aligns in my beliefs, and I educate myself. I learn all the policies, I know all the facts, and to see how many people have shown their true colors this week has been a blessing and eye-opening. And to be honest, in a lot of ways, I'm also not surprised. because we have seen more hate than I think we have seen in, I mean, as long as I've been alive, I've never seen it like this. This is in no way me trying to shame anyone for their vote. I have always, and I've talked about this on my platform, you are free to do your own research and you have the responsibility to educate yourself and to know what you're voting for. If you found yourself confused the last couple of weeks wondering, why are there so many people out there for Trump? If you found yourself asking these questions and condemning people, I mean, I've been called every name under the sun. Have you ever stopped to realize that one party voted for the president because they love what he's done for this country in policy and for the world? I mean, it's the first time we've had peace in the Middle East. That's just one thing out of a million, where the other party voted based off of hate.
Just as a side note, the links that are in the video description are all TikToks, and she got a lot of crap for that, for not having any reliable sources to refer back to. It was literally just people talking and not a single link to a credible source. The full video is about 22 minutes long, so of course I'm not going to play the entire thing, but from here, a few of the points that I wrote down to share with you is that she just has a significant disdain for people who didn't vote for Trump in 2020, and it's just dripping in this video. But then she flips it and she's like, I'm not shaming anyone for their vote, but then lays on a bunch of shame. She says very clearly that she voted for Trump because she has the facts and is an independent thinker, and if you didn't vote for him, that you're just going with a hashtag and that you're just a sheep who's just following what's popular. And then she goes even further with this quote. She says this, it's not an attack on who you voted for, it's an attack on God.
One thing I will never apologize for is thinking for myself, knowing the policy and the facts, doing my research, and not voting based off of a hashtag. This is so much bigger than politics. It's so much bigger than who you voted for. This is not an attack essentially on who you voted for. It is an attack on God.
So she's basically saying that if you didn't vote for Trump, you are attacking God. That is wild to me. That is absolutely wild, because if you were not in the US from 2016 to 2020, Trump did a lot of things that were really awful. Like really genuinely awful. And I still don't understand why people don't see it. Maybe they just see it, that stuff being overshadowed by other stuff. I don't know. But for example, you know, the way that he attacked the media, and he kept saying over and over again, basically anybody who didn't agree with him was a liar and fake. Like that was the only qualification, is you agree with me, you're real. You don't agree with me, you're a liar. And he even did that with some of his favorite news networks like Fox News. He would even say, you know, Fox News is turning into fake news if they disagreed with him about anything. He said terrible things about one of our branches of government, our judicial system. But I think one of the most damaging things that he did was putting questions into our election system without any evidence. I'm going to say that again, without any evidence. People that say any talking points that the election in 2020 was stolen, every single one of those talking points has been disproven. All you gotta do is Google it and you will find the evidence that that was a lie. There have been people that have been taken to court because they lied about the things they said about election fraud, and that caused such an issue. There are people that lied so much to the point where they put people's lives in danger, and they have now been held accountable by the law for those lies. If you live in the US, I think that we will all be able to agree that in that time, and even now, we kind of live in two separate countries depending on what news we watch. If you watch right-wing news or if you watch anybody else, you're going to believe different things. It's all about how you find your truth and whether you take the time to find the evidence. And what Amanda was doing is she was saying that if you believed in anything that wasn't right-wing media, you were believing lies. The fact is, Trump made thousands of misleading claims and false claims during his presidency. Anytime he was called out for making a mistake, he would go to lengths to try to prove that he hadn't made a mistake. Do you remember this thing that he did where he had made a mistake talking about the weather? So he literally took a Sharpie and redrew the map with a pen to make it look like he had been correct. I mean, that's the length that this man goes to not look like he's made a mistake. And he did this kind of all the time. He agreed with white nationalists and excused their racist behavior. He attempted to institute a Muslim ban. So anybody coming from a country where Muslim is the main religion, they just wouldn't be able to come to the US. Innocent people having nothing to do with anything bad, just not able to come here because of where they live. And just side note, he's doing that now as well. Even back then, he was making friends with authoritarian leaders, and he was physically and literally pushing our allies aside. He rolled back environmental regulations, and of course, he appointed 3 Supreme Court justices that eventually ended up overturning the right to abortion in the United States at the federal level and leaving it up to individual states. I tell you all of that to not try to convince you of what I believe, but to try to explain that it wasn't just people being sheep of why they didn't vote for Donald Trump. It wasn't just because of following a hashtag. It's because Donald Trump presented himself to be an absolutely terrible human being, and some people just didn't want that person as the president again. She literally calls Democrats dumb people with smartphones and then immediately says right after that, but I'm not here to shame anyone.
And it's like that line in this new song a follower had sent me, and it's a lot of dumb people with smartphones. I'm never here to judge you or to treat you unfairly. I don't play the game a lot of these people play of degrading and belittling and all of the nasty things that we've all seen all over the internet.
It's an awful, awful video, and that showed in her like to dislike ratio, which you can't see anymore. But the biggest one that I saw that was captured by a drama channel at the time was like 21,000 dislikes to 5,000 likes. And besides that, looking down in the video description, and this video is still up on our channel, you can go over and watch it now. It says, thumbs up equals woke. Thumbs down equals asleep. Welcome to the side of social media where you won't be judged for thinking for yourself. You will always be loved here. My first thought reading this was, that's really weird. And my second thought is, how is that love? Is that what she sees as love? That's really sad.
Make you feel like you on the cloud and you can't sit still when we on the floor and I'm on them for.
As I was planning for this video, I put up a post in my community tab of Amanda wearing a floaty that looked like Donald Trump. And there were comments, I didn't say who it was, but there were comments of people saying that it was Amanda, but then there were people saying, is that Esther? And some people, of course, didn't know what that was in a reference to. This is the Esther story, because this is truly a huge part of Amanda's lore. So we'll pick up where we left off in the last chapter of Amanda coming out as a Trump supporter. Yes, her followers knew that she was very religious, but we didn't know her political affiliation. So after Amanda's video went live, there was a lot of backlash because the beauty space tends to lean very left politically, at least for the US. There's a lot of talk about inclusivity of shade range. There's a lot of talk about equity access to cosmetics that are high quality. There's a lot of talk about including people of all genders in the love of makeup and letting people be themselves and express themselves through their love of makeup. So naturally, the industry tends to lean a bit left. And in that, because of that, that's, I think, why Amanda got so much backlash. So right after the video was posted, Amanda took about a week and a half off. And I personally thought it was because she was just kind of hiding for a little bit and just kind of taking everything in. But it turns out, at least according to her, she had gotten a chemical peel and was waiting for her face to heal. Fair.
But I got a chemical peel, not this past Tuesday, but the Tuesday before, and I was still peeling all the way up until like Tuesday of this week. So apologies for no video last week, but I promise I will make up for it this week.
On November 23rd, this was about 2 weeks after she uploaded the America video, she started talking about Esther a lot on her Instagram. If you're not familiar with the story of Esther, it's from the Old Testament. The story is very celebrated in Jewish culture. They actually have an entire holiday called Purim that surrounds the story of Esther. And it's a super fun holiday. If you've never heard of Purim, look it up. People dress up in costumes and their special foods, and it's a super fun holiday. And the reason why it's so fun is because it surrounds the story of Esther basically being a badass, that she was brave and she was full of faith and that she saved her people. Esther was a young Jewish woman in Persia and she was chosen to be queen. Now in that, she couldn't reveal that she was Jewish. She ended up getting married and she's living her best life until she finds out that one of her husband's advisors has a plot to destroy the Jewish people. And she's like, I can't let this happen. I can't let all the people that I love and my entire culture be destroyed by this plot. So she fasts for a few days and she gets the bravery enough to go to her husband uninvited, which was something that she was not supposed to be doing. So she goes to her husband and she's like, husband, I love you. I hope you love me too, but your dude is about to destroy my people. Can you stop that? And the king does, and she saves her people. The takeaway is that story of bravery, to speak out when you see something wrong, when you know something bad is going to happen, to have that bravery to stand up and say it. Well, Amanda had recently been shown this story in the Bible that she had never read before, and she was inspired by it. And this is the Instagram story that Amanda posted that made everyone start calling her Esther.
Esther was this beautiful, like one of the most beautiful women, and she stood up to the king and she saved her people. So it's about to get wild. So a thought popped in my head whenever she was breathing this life into me, and I was like, what if God brought me on this platform for a moment in time such as this? You know, when you read people in the Bible, all they had was their faith in God. They didn't know God was going to come through. They believed God was going to come through. And we read the aftermath in the Bible. So I was like, okay, what if I was brought here for this moment? Like, God got me here. I'm going to risk it all for God, right? Never been breathed into my life before.
So I open up my Bible, and Esther 4:14, what happens next blew my mind. So Esther 4:14 says, "For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place, but you and your father's family will perish. And who knows but that you have come to a royal position for such a time as this." Oh my gosh, I got chill bumps. I told my friend on the phone before I sat down to film my video, what if God brought me to this platform for such a time in history as this? I had no idea that Esther 4:14 said the very exact same thing. And I said this, the Holy Spirit prompted this in me right after she said, Amanda, remember the book of Esther.
Now, a lot of people interpreted this as Amanda saying she was the second coming of Esther. And I don't know. Honestly, rewatching it and trying to be objective about it, I don't know if that's exactly what she was saying. I do feel like she's saying that God is speaking to her, which is something a lot of Christians do believe and do say, and that she was inspired by the story. But was she really saying that she was the second coming of Esther? I don't know. But I do think that she believed that God put her on this path to speak truth to power, essentially, to stand up for what she believed in at any cost. So remember, Amanda is not popular in the influencer space. A lot of influencers, either publicly or secretly, do not like her. And one of those people was MannyMUA. And somebody asked him in the comments under one of his Instagram posts, I believe, and said, what do you think of Amanda Ensing? And he said, do you mean Esther? And Amanda screenshotted that and she put it on her Instagram and was basically saying that Manny was making fun of her religion, which I don't think that he was. I think he was making fun of her rather than her religion.
Oh, Manny, you got me fired up right now. I don't care if you want to talk about me or make fake accusations and claims about me as a person. I really don't care because I know who I am. But the moment you talk about God, we're going to have an issue. It's the respect religion until it's Christianity for me. It's that everyone gets equal rights except for religion and Christianity for me. Can you let us know what you meant by that, Manny? Let us know. You want to make fun of the Bible? Mock God? Let us know. What did you mean by that, Manny? I'm sure you have Christians who follow you. What do they think about that? And all of this for what? I'm a bad person now because I didn't vote for Biden? Is that what gives you a free pass to mock my religion and make fun of me and make fun of my faith? Do you even know what Trump has done for LGBTQ in the past 4 years, or are you just following the bandwagon like everyone else? It's very sad that so many people have been so ugly, especially in the beauty industry, just because someone voted differently than you. It's hysterical. And they want to call you every name in the book because of who you voted for, yet they don't know not even one reason of why they voted for Biden. It's just hilarious. And any reason has to do with Trump. And it doesn't even make any sense. Like, I guarantee you any of these people don't know one executive order, one bill, one policy, one law that was passed in the last 4 years. It just blows my mind. And I'm arguing about it because I'm so convicted in my beliefs and in my faith that I know what I believe in. But again, when it comes to God, I'm not just going to sit here. Christians don't just sit there when you attack their creator. Educate yourself. Start being kind to people and stop judging people and stop coming after Christianity. It's not a good look.
But this is a manipulation tactic that Amanda is going to hone over the next couple of years, taking a shred of truth and then twisting it to her narrative. So now that Amanda was on this path that she believed was from God, she became extremely vocal about supporting Trump. She put up this photo, a Christmas photo. She put up one every year, but this one was very political, obviously. She's got her Trump shirt on. Her husband has a Trump hat on, and his shirt in the United States flag colors says fraud, which I still don't 100% get why it says fraud. I guess maybe like previous presidents and our government is, I don't know. I don't understand why it says fraud, but it does. The caption on this photo read, I'll say it again for the people in the back. I don't care who likes my political beliefs. I won't bow down to the beauty mob who knows nothing about politics. People can kick and scream, but you won't change my mind. Lions can't understand the mentality of sheep. Just as insulting as it gets.
Use the force, there's no problem.
In the days after the election, when Donald Trump lost to Joe Biden, things here were really, you could feel things simmering. You could feel that there was unrest. And on January 6th, which was a ceremony that we have here in the US that basically confirmed Joe Biden as being our president, there was a huge event that happened at the nation's capital. And we were about to find out exactly how Amanda felt about that. As our Capitol building in DC was desecrated, people literally pooped on the floor and wiped it on the walls of our Capitol building. People destroyed things, broke things, went into people's offices and tore things up, brought the Confederate flag for the first time in the nation's history into the Capitol. People died, people were maimed. It was absolutely horrible. While all that was happening, Amanda tweeted this: "There's not enough popcorn in the world for what's about to happen." About 30 minutes later, she clarified this with, "This is referring to the amount of corruption about to be revealed in our government. As usual, the left twists our words." She also confidently stated during this time that the election was stolen. And to be fair, right-wing media was presenting a lot of false information at the time. So I can see why people believed that at the time. A person named Sierra responded to Amanda's tweet saying, "If you're clear with your message, words can't be twisted. You made it seem as though you were entertained by what was happening in your original tweet." A little bit earlier, Amanda had tweeted a photo of the crowd size at Trump's speech on January 6th, and she implied that the size of the crowd there was evidence that Trump had won the election. Responding to this was a creator named Makeup Shayla, who I had showed you a picture of her and Amanda earlier. So she responded to Amanda, "People showing up at the Capitol doesn't mean he won. Just like you curling your hair and tanning your skin doesn't mean you're mixed." And what Shayla's referring to is this photo. And before Amanda put this photo out, I don't think anybody that didn't follow her closely knew she had naturally curly hair. She had said over and over again that she got Brazilian blowouts because she didn't like her curly hair. And this was the first time anybody had seen it. It was also the very first time that she was seen tanned this dark. And it was also the first campaign that she did for Rihanna's Savage X Fenty clothing line. Amanda is half Puerto Rican, so naturally she has that curly hair, but people really thought that in this photo she was something called blackfishing, that she was trying to look black for a black-owned brand and black customers. So that's what Shayla was referring to when she said that Amanda was mixed. Amanda responded to Shayla saying, "It's the anti-racist party being racist and telling POC they aren't POC if they don't vote Democrat for me." The way Amanda used "for me" in that sentence is considered African-American vernacular English. And Jackie Aina then jumped into the conversation saying, "How are you going to use AAVE to try to check a black woman? Are you okay? And this led into a whole big thing. Amanda tweeted again this post, the left, I hate it here, America is embarrassing, only we can riot and loot, defund the police, just do what the government tells you and don't ask questions. The right, let's fight for freedom, we love the USA, defend the Constitution, we support our military and law enforcement. Jackie quote tweeted that and said, defund Amanda Ensing. And that was when the back and forth really started. There is a YouTube channel that chronicled every single back and forth. Her name is Rebecca. I will link the full video down below, but here are some highlights of, or lowlights, I should say, of that interaction. The defund Amanda Ensing tweet led Amanda to a callback of something that Jeffree Star had said about Jackie not paying taxes. To my knowledge, there's no evidence that Jackie didn't pay her taxes, but that was a rumor that Jeffree Star had posted. Jackie didn't respond to this directly, but now we have Jackie's friend, Alyssa Ashley, jumping into the conversation with some fire, saying, I love how what you said to both Shayla and Jackie came from the mouth of a racist. Go stick to your TikTok sources, you weak ass bitch. You would never have this energy at all if this was in person, and you know that. And if you choose to respond to me, I am begging you to make sure it's something you will say to me in person, because second shit reopens, I'll be sure that you do. So the reference to Shayla was when Jeffree Star had said that Shayla had told another influencer that there was something wrong with her face and that it was disproportionate. So Amanda had called back to that. So it was another situation that Jeffree had said happened that I don't know if it actually did. So the conversation continues back and forth, and it finally kind of concludes on Jackie's end with Jackie spilling some tea about her experience with Amanda. This is what she said happened. Basically, they were on a brand trip together, and Amanda had gone to Jackie and said, I'm not getting brand deals because people like you are getting all the brand deals and I'm too white and all of that. Jackie said at the time, she told Amanda that it wasn't true, and she felt like it kind of went in one ear and out the other, and that now that all this is coming out about Amanda, that conversation makes a lot of sense. Of course, not everybody was upset with Amanda. A lot of people agreed with her and were so happy that somebody in the beauty space was finally standing up for their perspective. They supported her loud and proud, and Amanda was not shy about sharing that she was being supported by people who thought like her. So a few weeks went by, and Amanda posted a sponsored video that she had booked with Sephora. Now, it's important to note here, at least in my mind, that this wasn't directly to Sephora. It wasn't like Sephora found Amanda and offered her a sponsorship. There's a company called Reward Style, and the way that works is they provide affiliate links for creators, and they can see how many people are clicking and buying from those affiliate links. And based on that data on how much that person can sell, they pitch those influencers to brands and say, hey, this creator is driving a lot of traffic to your website. Do you want to do a specific ad on their channel? So that's how Amanda got the sponsorship with Sephora. It was most likely because of her previous sales through affiliate links through Reward Style. And we don't know what was in the contract that Amanda had with Sephora. All we know is Amanda put the video up. It had the affiliate links of all the things at Sephora. And then a few hours later, the video was gone. Amanda had taken it down. 3 days later, it hit the media. Why? And it was because Sephora had cut ties with Amanda and canceled the sponsorship. Sephora tweeted to a customer asking about why they had sponsored a video on Amanda's channel, saying, we recently became aware of concerning behavior by Miss Ensing on her social platforms, including making light of the violence and tragic loss of life at our nation's capital last month. For this reason, we have taken steps to end the content creation relationship we had with Miss Ensing, which is managed by an external partner of Sephora. Any claim that this decision was made on the basis of political or religious beliefs is inaccurate. We respect individual perspectives and freedom of expression, but do reserve the right to end any partnership that does not meet our brand standards. At Sephora, we have made a commitment to build a beauty community that is welcoming, considerate, respectful, and inclusive for all. These values will continue to guide every decision we make. So to be clear, Sephora is saying they ended the partnership because of Amanda's tweets about January 6th. That specifically the tweets that she posted on January 6th supporting what was happening at the Capitol was the reason why they ended the sponsorship. And when I say Amanda milked the situation, she milked it. until there was no milk left. Besides tweeting that she was getting lawyers involved, Amanda went on every public platform that she could to tell her story. Talking about how unfair Sephora was for canceling her for her political and religious beliefs. She was on Newsmax, she was on OAN, she was on a guy named Dinesh D'Souza. I've never seen this man before, but I know he has a lot of followers, so maybe you've heard of him. She was also interviewed for Fox Business. These were just some of the platforms that she was physically on. She was also featured on Ben Shapiro's podcast.
Amanda Ensing, she's a full-time beauty and lifestyle influencer. She's got an online following of over 1.4 million subscribers. After the election of Joe Biden in November, Ensing was pretty vocal about her conservative beliefs, and that resulted in what we in the business call canceling. Sephora dropped her sponsorship, of course. Amanda, thanks so much for joining the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I've been supporting you for a long time. I'm really excited to be here.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Our main point in all of this was that Sephora said that they were inclusive, but they were excluding her because of who she voted for and because she was a Christian, which is not what Sephora had said. They said they broke ties with her because she was condoning violence at the Capitol. Nothing more, nothing less. But she kept spinning that narrative to every single platform. But now that attention was on Amanda, it was time to make some money because she had a whole new audience with a lot of money. Amanda launched a new merch site called Make Makeup Great Again. She sold merchandise including a hat that said ESTHER 414 on it.
Hey guys, here at Make Makeup Great Again. We are shipping out tons of orders. Thank you so much for supporting us and bearing with us. We cannot wait for everyone to get all of their orders. I'm actually here helping pack some stuff today.
And then she started a podcast called Liberty Before Lipstick with both an audio version on streaming platforms and on YouTube with a video version. She said she was going to sue Sephora, and she did sue Sephora. She actually hired a man that ended up representing 17 of the January 6th rioters. He was also on the team to defend a guy named Kyle Rittenhouse. I'm not going to go into his story. It's absolutely disgusting. Basically, he shot some people in Kenosha, Wisconsin at a protest. But the twist in that story is that Kyle's parents actually fired him because they said that he was only in it to make money and to get more Twitter followers, and that he didn't care about Kyle at all. As a side note, it is public information that he had a super messy divorce where his ex-wife put 2 restraining orders against him, saying that he was both physically and verbally abusive to her. I went way down the rabbit hole on that one, but it's not irrelevant to Amanda's story. But just know that I don't like this John guy. He seems like an absolutely awful person.
I wanted to let you guys know that I have retained one of the best legal counsels in the United States of America. We are going to leave no stone unturned when it comes to what they did to me, and we are coming for justice. I will not be intimidated. I will not be silenced. I will not be censored. This is so much bigger than one partnership or one sponsorship. This is about setting an example for diversity, for inclusion, showing that we all deserve to wear makeup, and this is about bringing everyone together. You know, it seems like common sense that everyone can wear makeup and deserves to wear makeup and deserves to be included regardless of their background, which so many companies preach, but it seems like they don't really follow through or don't really care. I'm going to stand for that. I'm going to defend that. I'm going to fight for those rights for all of us to be able to be included and to be a part of the story. If God is for us, who can be against us? The mob and cancel culture wants you to feel like you're a bad person and that you are alone, but I'm telling you, you have millions of people standing with you. Who are they to tell us what lives are important, which lives can be canceled and which ones can't, who should work and who shouldn't? It's disgusting. If you like what I'm doing and want to support me, make sure you head over to MakeMakeupGreatAgain.com. You can go on there. We put so much love into these products. If you put your email in, you'll get a first time 10% off discount code. So make sure you head there. Also stay up to date with all of my social media platforms. This is going to be a journey. We are just getting started. And when I tell you this, I hope you hear me loud and proud. The best is yet to come.
So she's suing Sephora, and because of that lawsuit, PragerU, which is a very big right-wing media site, did a whole little documentary on Amanda, and the video that's on their website got 1.4 million views.
I'm going to share with you today one of the whistleblowers who came forward on what Sephora said internally about me to their employees. The email was sent out by Sephora's Chief Marketing Officer, Deborah Ye. She said, "Dear all, as members of our Sephora employee community, we are reaching out to update you on a decision we made to separate from influencer Amanda Ensing, who was recently contracted for a campaign through one of our external vendors. Amanda has been sharing content on social media that does not align with our values of inclusion and creating safe spaces for all. Specifically, she has used her platform to share or highlight racially insensitive and discriminatory language and made light of the violence at our nation's capital last month. For this reason, we made the decision to cease all programming with her indefinitely. Unfortunately, there's an alternative narrative circulating that we have ended our relationship because of her religious beliefs or political views. That is not the case. At Sephora, we have made a commitment to build a beauty community that is welcoming, considerate, respectful, and inclusive for all. These values will continue to guide every decision we make. I have not once made light of death or the violence at our nation's capital on January 6th. Would never. If you actually looked at my social media, I called for peace and for prayer and for justice. How many employees received this email that was sent out? How many people now have an opinion of me in the industry? Not just employees, but what about brands as well? Deborah said in this email that I used my platform to share or highlight racially insensitive and discriminatory language. Well, which one is it? There's no proof of me doing any of that. I've never done that, would never do that. I used to get a lot of PR packages, right? I'm in the beauty industry. After Sephora made these statements, I'm not really getting any PR packages. Brands don't want to sponsor me because who would stand with me and not with Sephora? These brands are in Sephora. Sephora is a beauty mogul. If you've ever witnessed or experienced cancel culture, you know it can ruin people's lives. With what Sephora did to me, it not only resulted in a loss of my primary source of income, but it completely discredited and erased a decade worth of work. Having followers is not something that just is given to you. Having followers does not mean that you just make money. I've worked almost a decade to get where I'm at. I've built a portfolio of work in the beauty industry for years and years, all to be discredited because a company does not agree with my views. I'm fighting for everyone to have the right to use their voice as they see fit, to voice their opinions and their beliefs without being canceled by society because it's not popular. And I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna watch as God opens the floodgates for justice.
She also appeared on Candace Owens' 13th episode of her podcast. If you're not familiar with Candace Owens, I would be surprised if Amanda didn't look up to Candace as an idol. On June 23rd, she said publicly that Bretman Rock, who is a beauty creator or used to be a beauty creator in our space, was racist for saying that he left the beauty community because white people ruined it. So that was a thing. Year goes on. Now it's October of 2021, just 5 months after her lawsuit was filed against Sephora, and there was a big turn in that case. And after this ruling, the lawsuit was kind of over. I'll tell you what happens. Hello, Editing Jen here. I have some good news. After I filmed, I was able to get access to more court documents and found more information about how this whole Sephora lawsuit ended. So basically, Sephora was saying that it was their free speech to explain to the public why they cut ties with Amanda, being that she's a public figure. What's so weird about this is that Amanda's argument was that even though she has a public platform, she isn't a public figure, and that the information that Sephora shared should have been kept private, and because of that, she was losing opportunities financially. But that is not what Amanda told her audience. In October of 2021, she uploaded this update on the situation.
And I am suing Sephora for defamation. They dropped me as a sponsor saying I didn't fit in with their values of inclusivity, essentially because I have conservative values. They spread defamatory statements about me publicly on social media, as well as internally through their company, which I showed in my whistleblower video. We had a whistleblower come forward. That's why we are also suing their chief marketing officer, Deborah Ye, for the defamation that she spread internally within Sephora. So Sephora requested for a stay on all discovery, aka they don't want their dirty laundry coming out.
Y'all, the stay wasn't because they, quote, don't want their dirty laundry coming out. It was because there are specific rules in Tennessee where she filed, specifically the TPPA, or the Tennessee Public Participation Act, that needed to be considered in this case. It's basically an anti-slap rule that might protect Sephora under free speech. But because Sephora and Deborah Ye, the people being sued, are located in California, they argued that the the venue should be changed to California. And in that, the laws in Tennessee wouldn't apply. So there was no point in doing discovery of anything or doing anything until they got it in the proper venue, because the laws and rules may be different in Tennessee versus California.
They did not want us to have this discovery. However, the judge denied that and allowed jurisdictional discovery, which is everything that we wanted. The judge granted. SEPHORA said that the court should dismiss this case on the grounds of jurisdiction here in Tennessee, where I live. However, the courts have granted us the discovery we requested to show that we have jurisdiction in Tennessee. The judge granted the stay of all discovery and denied blocking the jurisdictional discovery. So essentially, they didn't want us to have discovery. SEPHORA didn't want us to have discovery to prove that we have jurisdiction and to help our case. This is a huge win for us.
What's so weird here is what Amanda's saying is actually not what she was asking for. This is not a big win for her case. Here's what she was actually looking for. This is a screenshot from the court documents stating that Amanda wanted, first they wanted the internal communications of SEPHORA and Deborah that led to the publications of their allegedly defamatory statements. Then she wanted everybody to be deposed. Then they wanted a deposition of SEPHORA regarding its allegedly defamatory statements, as well as its contact with Amanda and the state of Tennessee. None of that have to do with jurisdiction, y'all. No, that was the stuff they wanted. The court did not allow discovery on the things that Amanda wanted.
As we move forward in this lawsuit, I wanted to give you guys this amazing update to share with you, because this is not just about me. This is about us. This is about everyone who has been attacked by the mob of cancel culture for having different views, opinions, or beliefs.
I think you know that that is not what this was about at all. This ended up being about Amanda feeling like SEPHORA's statement hurt her professionally. It affected her bag. That's what this was about. And what gets me about this is that Amanda is the one who shared SEPHORA's words so widely. She talked about it on every public platform she could get on, but somehow it was SEPHORA's fault that everyone found out why they dropped her. It is all complete bullshit. But that never even got ruled on, because the judge formally decided that the case was filed wrongly in Tennessee and that it should have been filed in California and that the case should be moved there. So what happened next is that once it moved to California, Amanda dropped the case. It was dismissed with prejudice, aka dismissed permanently, with the court cost taxed to Amanda. She had to pay all the court costs. I tried finding out why she dropped it, but I couldn't find anything in the filings, which is not unusual. She just didn't say why she was dropping it. She shouldn't have to have a reason. She just dropped it. So whether or not SEPHORA and Deborah defamed Amanda never even got ruled on, because Amanda backed out after they changed the venue to California. And that is the anticlimactic ending that Amanda never told you. This is the last thing that Amanda said on the topic.
And Americans are tired of woke companies. We're tired of companies that only, want to entertain one little group, and they forget about everyone else. And they try to make us, feel bad about ourselves for having different beliefs or opinions. They try to cyberbully, to belittle us, to mock us, to try to silence and censor our voices.
So in my language, maybe not official legal language, but in my language, Amanda lost. After all of that press and all, SEPHORA did me wrong and they're persecuting me for my religion and my political beliefs. She couldn't prove it in court and she lost. Did she tell anybody she lost? Not to my knowledge. But just like the information that was presented about the election being stolen, people didn't hear that Amanda had lost this lawsuit. It just didn't get any press. So her followers, I guess, still believed that she had a case against SEPHORA. And that's what really gets me about this, is how much press she got for a case that she absolutely had no grounds to file.
Pull out the peas, fill me up like a Reese's. When I'm with you, I'm holier than Jesus.
With her new conservative MAGA audience, Amanda pivoted a bit and started creating and posting more content with that message.
You know what accountability is? Accountability is holding others hostage to public opinion or to offending people with their words. But the truth is, anything you say will offend someone. So the only way you can avoid accountability or cancel culture is by not speaking at all. And that goes directly against our First Amendment. And I'm just tired of seeing everywhere, every day, someone else is canceled and saying, we're just holding them accountable. We're just holding them accountable. No, you're not. You're shaming them. I'm just wondering, when does cancel culture stop? Is it once everything is already canceled? Once there's nothing left to cancel? Once our voices are canceled? I mean, people are living in fear because they can't talk about their beliefs, their political beliefs, or disagree with anything on the news because if you disagree with CNN, you're a conspiracy theorist. I mean, the direction we're going in this country is no critical thinking. Don't speak out against anything if it goes against what you see on the TV. And don't talk about your beliefs if it's not popular, because if not, we'll cancel you. People are having to choose between their paycheck and their voice. That is not a free America. So it's been, 48 days and Joe Biden has not given a press conference. Instead, he goes on national primetime TV last night for less than half an hour, leaves, answers no questions, and does nothing except push every American to take the vaccine, saying, you've got to do your part. And if you do, then maybe, just maybe by July 4th, can you have a small gathering of your family? How about no? I really believe God gave me this platform for such a time as this right now in history. My goal on my podcast is not to teach you what to think, but just to teach you how to think, just to think. Inspiring quote from Joe Biden. And the question is whether or not we should be in a position where you are. Why can't the experts say? We know that this virus is, in fact, it's going to be, we know why all the drugs approved are not temporarily approved, but permanently approved. Who's running our country right now?
Her social posts in 2021 were very political. And remember, she's going from 0 political posts to almost every single post being about politics, or at least having something in the caption having to do with politics. And over again, she insists that she's not popular and she's being canceled because of her political beliefs and because everybody else is a sheep. Posts like this one that says, the next time someone tells you you aren't acting very Christian, tell them God doesn't need actors. Girl, Amanda has a significant deficit in self-reflection, and that's something we've seen since the very beginning, when she was basically saying she doesn't have friends because everybody else is fake. And it was happening every place she went, from high school to college to in the influencer space. She just couldn't make any friends, but it wasn't her fault. It's like the same thing here, that she's being canceled unjustly. She just has no ability to self-reflect and be critical of her own choices. And she even took it further to then go against what she had said before about being political. She said specifically in this post, your silence is political, accusing anybody who doesn't speak out like she does as being, in a way, weak. Her post just had this air of anger to them. Like, all of them had this really just nasty air. Like, for example, this post from May of 2021, she directly attacks Jackie Aina and MannyMUA specifically for interviewing President Biden about the COVID-19 pandemic.
Do you guys remember when I said God is exposing a lot the last year? Well, Biden just did a COVID-19 town hall type of thing on YouTube with YouTubers. And out of every YouTuber that could have been, just so happens it's 2 beauty influencers. Just so happens it's the same 2 beauty influencers who called me racist, ugly inside and out, made fun of my faith in God, called me Esther, said to defund me, all because I voted for Trump, all because I'm conservative. They called me all of these things and called for me to be canceled in the beauty industry. Yeah, those 2 people, Manny and Jackie, I don't know what they have to do with vaccinations. I guess because celebrities pushing it, marketing pushing it, all of the commercials, politicians pushing it isn't enough. Now they're going to YouTubers to push the vaccine. I find it funny because if you look at the comments of these 2 liberal influencers, right, that are pushing Biden, have been pushing Biden, they said that anyone who voted for Trump was racist, conservatives are racist, all these things about conservatives, right? Brands like Sephora still work with them. Beauty companies still sponsor them. Oh, but me, conservative? No. But if you support the narrative, support the science, S with the $, then you're fine. And in that video, it was very disturbing because they said, yes, everyone has to do their part. I agree, trust the science. I'm curious, what science, Jackie? What science, Manny? You will see beauty brands and other beauty influencers being like, yes, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you. Yes, you collabed with Biden. Oh my gosh. I won't call him president because he's not president. But they'll like push that narrative and they're praised in the beauty industry. But if this would have been with Trump or a conservative president, oh my gosh. Could you imagine? I mean, look what's happening to conservatives now. I point this out because it's hypocrisy. So they continue to push the narrative that the government is pushing, right? So Jackie said, oh, well, I have to worry about other people. That's what I'm very conscious about, other people's health. So I'm getting the vaccine because I'm worried about other people. So since when does you getting a vaccine not work unless other people get it? You're saying everyone has to get a vaccine for it to work? That's not how vaccines work. But I mean, they don't know what they're talking about. They're just saying whatever they're told.
In today's show, we are talking to WHO's chief scientist, Dr. Soumya Swaminathan, and she is going to explain herd immunity. Welcome, Soumya.
Thank you.
Soumya, we are hearing a lot about herd immunity. So let's start with, please tell us, what is herd immunity?
So let's take an example of a disease like measles, which is a very common childhood infectious illness caused by measles virus, for which there's a very effective vaccine. Now, we say that to achieve herd immunity in the population, for measles, you need about 95% of the people to have immunity or antibodies. Even if you have 5% of children not vaccinated, these others actually have enough protection in the population to prevent the measles virus from actually going from one person to the next.
The same people who call us conspiracy theorists for believing that it was a rigged election, which it was, that's not a conspiracy, it was, for believing that this shot is not actually good for you, and for believing that we have corruption in our government, are the people who think masks actually filter the air, that they keep you healthy. The same people who are like, oh my gosh, like the whole nation, 80 million people voted for Biden. Like, I guarantee you they haven't watched one press conference.
This is the thing. I fully believe in her right to have her beliefs. That's what the US is supposed to be all about, our freedom to believe what we want to believe, to have freedom of religion, to be who we are. I fully support, even though I don't agree with her, I fully support her right to be whoever she is, publicly and verbally, 100%. But what our freedom does not grant us is freedom from consequences. And that's what she's seeing. She is vocally saying who she is and being upset when people don't agree with her. And that's just not how freedom works. Because in that, you are limiting people's opinion to be free to have an opinion about who you're presenting yourself to be, which is extremely anti-American. So the rest of 2021 passes, and the entire theme of Amanda's Instagram is her being a victim of cancel culture. That's pretty much all she talks about, is pretending to be a victim for money to sell her merch and to get followers and the occasional sponsorship, because a lot of brands cut ties with her. And I'm not saying that to be mean. That is exactly what happened. 2022 was more of the same thing, but she started building in a little bit more beauty and lifestyle content. So she'd have like a hair post, a skin post, a political post, a makeup post, a political post. She was really smattering in that super aesthetic looking Instagram video. As the outrage over COVID-19 started to wane, she started really being vocal about other right-wing talking points. She's extremely anti-abortion. She talks about trans women taking over women's spaces.
I mean, right now, I think women are more in danger than we ever have been in society, and everyone's just pushing it all along. Who's coming to protect the women? The men, the strong men are supposed to protect the women. And right now we have all across the country women's spaces and women opportunities meant for women being taken by men, and everyone's just supposed to agree with it. It's absolute lunacy.
She talks about the America First agenda. And if you've never looked into the term America First, I highly recommend you do, because it will make your head spin where that term originated from. Again, can't take you down that rabbit hole because it's a whole nother thing. but look it up. It is wild. The short of it is, in its prior use in history, it's not patriotic at all unless you're a white supremacist. That's what it comes down to. The other thing Amanda started doing in 2022 was posting just outright misinformation from terrible sources. This part of the story is one of the reasons why I had a trigger warning at the beginning, because it has to do with aborted fetuses. Now, of course, there will be no photos of anything, but it's a story Amanda told on her social media that is not, it's not what she's saying it is.
Are aborted fetuses being used in cosmetics? Y'all, what is going on? Let's get into it. This article touches on European cosmetics that use fetal tissue and the new marketing term called cosmeceuticals, which is a combination of the word cosmetics and pharmaceuticals. One of the companies producing these cosmeceuticals is Neocutis, a Swiss company whose US-based subsidiary is located in San Francisco. Just want to add, so many major beauty brands are headquartered in San Francisco, major ones who also support and pro-choice. It's reported here that they use additives made from patented processed skin proteins derived from a cell line that originated with an 14-week-old Swiss baby boy. What? If that's not bad enough, in the mid-1980s, several investigations in England and France found that abortion clinics were selling the bodies of babies to cosmetic companies for their use in products. They advertised their products could rejuvenate the face, skin, and hair, and prominently mentioned the fact that various fetal organs were used in the making of the creams. Y'all, this is beyond evil. Also, pause to read this comment.
I will be 100% with you. When I looked at this clip, I was like, what? How could this possibly be true? Like, where is she even getting this from? And I genuinely looked to see if this was real. So the first thing you need to know is the person who wrote this article. His name is Brian Close, PhD. He's not a medical doctor. I know you're probably not shocked to hear that, but his PhD is in civil engineering and systems science. He is part of a group called Human Life International. He's one of their leaders. I did read the article and I checked it to see where he got his information from. So it turns out what Amanda is saying is actually true. What she left out was that this happened one time in the 1980s. The fetus was donated by the mother. It was a single lab, and they said that they just needed this one sample and that it would not need to be repeated. The second part of Amanda's story is actually a completely different story. It actually took place in Russia in 2005. So 20 years ago as I'm filming this. It's actually a pretty horrific story, but what Amanda doesn't mention and what Brian didn't mention in his article is that this was illegal. There were people who were paying women in Ukraine for their fetuses and bringing them over the border into Russia for exactly what she said happened, but it was illegal, and they say that they did put a stop to it. So because that original lab in the 1980s had funding from an American company, Amanda and Brian both present this as an American current problem when it absolutely is not. So the irony in this is that Amanda started with a shred of truth and then spun it out into propaganda. And she had said that the left was doing this, and that was why she was a Republican. But now here she is doing the exact same thing she was criticizing the other side of doing. Arguably, the most important thing that happened in Amanda's life in 2022 was that she finally launched her beauty brand that she had been working on for 4 years. And I love that it wasn't 2 years. It was 4 years. That's a running joke in the beauty space that everything takes 2 years. Well, Amanda says this took 4 years, and it's a beauty brand called Elevate. She said that the values of this brand are faith, family, and freedom, and it focused only on lip products. Inside each top of the box has a Bible verse in it, and the shades reflected her current journey up to that point. So there are religious ones, and of course ones about being canceled. So there's names like Chosen, Unbothered, Called to Boldness, Uncancelable, Faith Over Fear, Unfollow Me, and Fact Check Me. Those are names of shades of lip products. She also came out with a collection called Red Wave, but those names actually weren't political. They were all named after fruits and flowers. If you're not familiar with the term red wave, it's a US term for when there's an election and the Republicans end up taking over our government. On the opposite side would be a blue wave when the Democrats take over the government. And even though Amanda got nowhere with her Sephora lawsuit, she continues to use the story of what Sephora did to her to market her new makeup line.
Sephora has cut ties with beauty influencer Amanda Ensing.
They harassed her and she lost the deal.
The silencing of conservative voices has now become common practice.
And we're going to fight this nonsense. We're going to push back against this cancel culture mob.
You're going to show them all with your own makeup brand. You want to change the beauty culture.
They can't cancel your voice. We live in America. This is a free country.
We haven't talked about Raphael in a while, so let's talk about what's been going on with him. I honestly don't know. If you've been watching me for a while, you know how obsessed I am with timelines, and I like everything to line up. It's the neurodivergency in me. I like everything to line up. So at some point, Amanda and Raphael got married, but I don't know when, because in videos I was watching and listening like, what is she referring to Raphael as? And she kept saying boyfriend, 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 boyfriend. She called him her boyfriend up through 2020.
And Raphael want to get married anytime in the near future. Short answer I would say is yes. I am creeping up towards that stage of my life where I feel like I'm ready, but it's all in God's timing. I mean, Raphael is like #1 hero in this story because he packed so much stuff. Like, Raphael is like the best boyfriend in the entire world. He did so much. Like, as I've been filming, he's been helping me unpack my studio. Who does that? He's the best ever. I love him more than anything. I don't show a lot of my relationship on camera, but he is the best boyfriend, and he goes above and beyond for me and treats me like a queen, and I'm so thankful for him.
But in October of 2022, Amanda announced that she was pregnant with her first child. And she says that she's been married to Raphael for 4 years. So something isn't adding up. I don't get why she would lie about that. Or, like, either she lied about him being her boyfriend or she lied about when they got married. I don't know why. I can only speculate as to why my parents got married quickly. Maybe it was the same situation. I don't know. The caption on it just says 4 years married to my best friend and our greatest adventure begins coming spring of 2023. And in the end, it doesn't really matter when they got married. Like, to be honest, it doesn't matter, but the discrepancy just really bugs me, so I figured I would share. And for somebody that cares so much about aesthetics and life events, and she would recap her life over the year every single December, I just find it weird that she never posted about her wedding. I think that's odd. I don't know what happened there. But anyway, by the end of 2022, Amanda's now husband, Raphael, became an American citizen. So he's been in the country 12 years, and after paying lots and lots of money and lots of time and effort, he's now an American citizen. And he went on with Amanda on a podcasty kind of thing. It looks like they only have one episode though, and it was the one Amanda was on, called Bienvenido Clubhouse. It is a community for Hispanic Republicans. And one of the biggest topics they talked about was immigration. This is what Raphael had to say about it.
My parents paid for me to come here to Philadelphia and stay 6 months and learn the language and then go back home. But then when I first got here, I automatically felt like I didn't want to go back home. I went through the whole F1, for those that don't know, the student visa paperwork, where I was able to stay here and go to school. And still battling with my, with the visa, with the immigration status in general, because it's expensive. It's not, for you to be here and maintain that legal status, it costs a lot of money. And my parents were, Brazil wasn't doing very well in 2011, 12. We were having government issues. So I had to, find a job on the campus and start doing Uber, stuff like that, to be able to pay for my green card. And now it's been 11 years, and later this year I'm going to become an American citizen, and it's just mind-blowing to me.
You're going through the immigration process, how important is it to really give credit to law and order and do it the right way, right?
Yeah, look, it's doing the right way. It's not easy, right? Or else we don't have these issues at the border, right? Yeah. It's a complicated process. It takes time. I mean, and we're dealing with the government, so it is slow. Mm-hmm. This is not Amazon Prime. We're not going to get in 2 days. But I think that
to me, like, I had to spend money, I had to spend time to get to where I'm at right now. And for me to see this, you know, the current administration wanted to just give, I don't know, 11 million people, right, or something crazy, free immigration, it's a heartbreaking to me, because I'm not going to get my money back. You know, it's not fair for those who have to stay in line and pay and do everything right in order to get it, where these people are just coming in and just going to get free citizenship. I don't think, you know, should work that way.
And personally, I just want to speak on my opinion on this just very quickly. I feel like anytime this kind of attitude comes up, it really feels entitled to me, that somebody goes through something that's really, really hard, a process that's really, really hard, and you feel like it's unfair that other people don't have to go through a difficult and expensive process. You would think if you go through something hard, you would want the life of others to be easier, for the process to be simplified and less expensive. I'm not saying to just let anybody into the country, but to make it possible for good people who want to come in and work hard and contribute to our country, make it a little easier for them to become American citizens. But Raphael feels like because it was hard for him, it should be hard for everybody else. And I just don't agree with that mentality, but that's just me. So the rest of 2022 was a lot of posts about being pregnant. That's pretty much it. Almost 100% of her content was about pregnancy and her faith and how that tied into her pregnancy, and some political posts and how that tied into her pregnancy. It was all pregnancy related. In her birth story, she revealed that she never went to a medical doctor during her pregnancy, that she had a doula and she had a midwife, and those were the people that took care of her through her pregnancy, that she only got one blood test, and that was because they felt like it was medically necessary for her to have that. But overall, she didn't have a doctor's medical care through her pregnancy. The other thing I found interesting about her birth story is that she talked about how excited she was to go through labor, which in the past, she did a lot of Q&As, and a lot of the questions were exactly the same thing. And a lot of people were always asking, when are you getting married? When are you gonna have babies? And she would always say every single time, I want to have babies when I'm in my late 20s, and I want to have 2 babies, but I'm scared of going through labor. But in this video, she talks about how she wasn't afraid of going to labor. So I don't know what happened. Maybe it was the intensity of her faith that led her to not be afraid anymore. And I will tell you, as somebody who's given birth twice, it is a scary thing, like rightfully. It's very scary. And the other thing I wanted to talk to you about, which may have intensified some of Amanda's feelings about the medical community, is that when she did have her baby, she wanted a water birth, she wanted to have a home birth, and then things just weren't progressing the way they were supposed to. She ended up going to the hospital, and they ended up giving her, Pitocin to move it along, and she ended up, long story short, with a C-section, which is exactly the opposite of what she wanted for her birth plan. And she blamed all the medications they gave her for her ending up in a C-section. And I'm not a doctor. I don't know whether she hadn't gotten the medications, whether that would have made a difference or not. But I do know that there are people that have medical interventions like epidurals and Pitocin, including myself, that end up with vaginal births. But again, I don't know what happened in Amanda's situation. My point in telling you that is that it created even more skepticism for Amanda when she had her baby. And she has said publicly in responses on her Instagram that when her baby was born, she did not have him vaccinated. She didn't say those exact words, but she did say that she didn't want him injected with poison. So her pregnancy flows into 2023, and she's still posting about being pregnant with a side of anti-trans stuff. She has this really mean post about Dylan Mulvaney that it was awful. And in May of 2023, Adriel was born. She posts him all over her social media out of respect for him and knowing he can't consent to being on the internet. I'm going to blur his face, but if you would like to go see him, you can see him over on her Instagram, and he's absolutely freaking adorable. He's the cutest little baby. I just have to say that. He's very, very cute. This post that she posted of Adriel, this one made me giggle, and I'm still not 100% sure why I find this so funny, but let me just show you. It was on July 4th of 2023. Why am I laughing? Can you explain to me why I'm laughing and why I think this is so ridiculous? Because I haven't processed that in my brain.
But it's all a joke to me, and it should be to all of these. Sometimes I think it's the only way to stay.
So you may be asking, how is it going for Amanda now? Well, it's actually going quite well. It seems to be, at least. In December of 2023, Amanda moved into a huge house in Tennessee. It's beautiful. So I'm assuming the switch to angry alt-right evangelical worked very well for her. Either that or Raphael's real estate business must be doing very well. Either way, this is a nice house. In 2023, she continues to bash the woke beauty industry and push the right-wing talking points. Not nearly as often though, but she's still doing it.
Makeup tutorial inspired by current events. First, I'm going to be taking this foundation and Build the Wall because there's no country in the world that has an open border. The concealer I'm using is in the shade Where is the Epstein Client List? I mean, really, where is it? Now I'm going to set everything with this powder in the shade Oh, the government doesn't care about your health. Love this powder. Blush I'm using is called Life Begins at Conception. I'm gonna highlight with the shade Voter ID is Not Racist. For mascara, I'm using There Are Only Two Genders. How did we get here as a society? For lipstick, I'm gonna use Fact Check Me Matte, which is actually the name of this product because this is my company, Elevate Beauty. Topping everything off with Unbothered Gloss. Vote with your dollar, shop brands that support faith, family, and freedom.
Then in 2024, her posts became more about like clean living and like more homesteading kind of stuff. I know that's not going to be a shocker to you. She makes a lot of food from scratch and she talks about being a loving mom. And actually, I'll be honest with you, I actually agree with some of her parenting takes. I mean, they're kind of obvious. Like things about babies not being able to regulate their emotions. 100% agree with Amanda on that babies are babies. They can't control their emotions and it's up to the parent to help them and not blame them for crying or whatever. I feel like that's kind of obvious, but I do agree with her on that. There's one post that she posted in August of 2024 that really sat wrong with me. I'm going to play you a clip of it, but it really shows the complete 180 of Amanda now versus who she used to present herself to be.
We are so past the stage of, I don't care who you vote for, but no, I care who you vote for. Because after the last 4 years of an utter dumpster fire of dragging America literally to hell, people want to act like everything's okay. It's not okay. I care who you vote for because you're dragging the rest of us down with you. How expensive do groceries have to get? How expensive does gas have to get? How high does inflation have to rise for people to realize that JoJo and Kamala ain't it? That the left lied, like they lie about everything. People can say whatever they want about Trump, but under Trump, I saw all y'all buying new houses and new cars, and people thrived under Trump because he's a businessman. He knows how to run the country. People took America seriously. Yet, idiots and morons who think the left is going to do anything, who think Kamala is going to do anything, I'm sorry, but you are an idiot. You are. We're over it at this point.
I'm here to tell you that anyone that claims to be your friend and claims to be for you, unless you agree with their opinions, is not your friend. And they are not someone that you should be associating with. If someone didn't want to be your friend because you didn't vote the way they wanted to, they know where the door is. Bye, girl. Ain't nobody want that energy here. We don't care.
Because what's so interesting is that in Biden's America, she seemed to be doing pretty well. Like for real. I mean, she's using the right-wing talking points in order to make money, but she seems to be thriving. So I don't know what she's talking about, you know, things going to hell or whatever with the economy. She seems to be doing great. I don't know. I don't get it. And then there's another turn that's absolutely fascinating to me because Amanda used to be quite the feminist, a turfy feminist, but a feminist where she's, you know, women power and boss babe and, you know, I can do anything a man can do. And she kind of turned into a trad wife.
Feminism lied. I came from the boss babe culture telling me that a career would be what would fulfill me in life. And as a woman who hustled, hit her goals, excelled in her career, bought fancy cars, traveled the world, did all the things, it was incredible. But something was missing. So I started to tune out of the masculine energy, what society and the world was telling me. I started to tune in to what Jesus was telling me. And then one day, my life changed. The moment I found out I was pregnant, everything made sense. I felt that I had finally arrived at where I had always meant to be.
and watching my body change and grow this beautiful baby, to then meeting my baby, sustaining him with my body, nourishing him, putting him to sleep. There's no better feeling than your baby sleeping on your chest. It's a feeling I never felt in any career. Feminism never told me about the joy of being a mother. Feminism sold women the lie that it is more fulfilling to serve someone outside of your home than raising your own family. We were told liberation comes from leaving and serving a career or job that won't love you back. Then stay-at-home moms are told that being a mother will never fulfill you, that it's not enough, that her responsibility and gift of raising the next generation isn't enough when it is the most important work women can ever do, because no one can replace a mother's love.
I mean, look at this outfit. There's no way she is cleaning the house and making baby food and doing all kinds of wifey things in this outfit. It's very traditional wife aesthetic. And again, it's a rabbit hole I'm not going to go down. I'll link Hannah Alonso's video on trad wives down below. It's fascinating, but she's echoing a lot of that about like a homesteading kind of feel of, you know, being afraid of buying anything from the grocery store, that our food is killing us and making everything from scratch. But another thing I will give her credit on is that she made a sourdough bagel, and I want to make those bagels so bad. They look so good. Like, I might make the bagels. I'll be 100%. But what's so interesting about this is the evolution of Amanda. I mean, she spent 10 years busting her ass, being a boss babe, earning her place in the beauty space. And then she has a baby, and all of a sudden, it's all about a woman needs to be home taking care of her baby, which fine, but it just shows how much of a 180 she's taken at this point compared to who she used to be. We all evolve in life. We all change our opinions. I'm just telling the story. Like, she has an absolute right to change her mind on this. It's just very different is my only point there. Because one thing I don't think Amanda has fully grasped is that this is what feminism is actually about. It's about women having the choice of what they want to do, whether they want to be a boss babe or a stay-at-home mom. Women should be able to have that choice on an equal playing field. That women should have the right to pursue their dreams no matter what. Where it feels like now her message is more of putting down traditional feminism, when traditional feminism allowed her this journey. My biggest issue here is that Amanda applies her own experience to the experiences of everyone else. She says that because she believes this way, because she thinks this way, if you believe or think another way, then you are wrong and you are a sheep, which is exactly opposite of what she says she believes in, which is freedom, the ability to have your own viewpoints and opinions without being persecuted for them. So in that, she's persecuting people who have different beliefs. Do you see what I'm saying? That's my biggest issue with Amanda Ensing and who she is now. Speaking of who she is now, I want to make note of the fact that her last political post, as of the time that I'm filming, was January 27th of 2025, and it is so mean. It is just straight up cruel. So the video is of Selena Gomez, and she's crying on camera, and she's saying that she's feeling terrible for the people that are being deported. Amanda not only has zero empathy for anybody that's going through a difficult time, she laughs about it.
What to do? Good Lord. Why not this energy towards our increasing homeless population, displaced veterans, single moms, the people of North Carolina, Ohio, Tennessee, Florida, California who have lost everything and are sleeping in tents? Are they not also your people? What about the 300,000 missing children the Biden administration just lost? Where was your voice and tears and empathy to try to help find them? Which update, the Trump administration has reportedly found 80,000 of them. What about the women and children who have been assaulted, raped, and murdered by illegal aliens? Or as you're saying, your people? Where is your empathy and voice for them? And what was the point of filming yourself crying about something you either have no idea about or were paid to say?
For people who want to say mean things, I mean, they're just talking because they're obviously miserable with their lives, or like, what kind of person has time just to bring other people down? I've never seen a hater doing better than me. So think about that, because people who have nothing better to do than to comment mean things on people they know, or even worse, people they don't know, like, what are you doing with your life? Like, you can sit behind your computer and say all these things, but I guarantee people in real life aren't going to say that. So it's just nasty, and it's one of the unfortunate things about our world today. But just know that you're awesome, and as long as you're doing what makes you happy, who cares about anyone else?
And as a side note, it may not surprise you to learn that the article that she puts up on the screen is literally from a fake news website. If you look up leading report, you will find out it's kind of like The Onion. Their whole thing is making news stories that are fake. And Amanda's using that as her source. But something very strange has happened on Amanda's socials. She stopped posting on YouTube about 8 months ago. And since this late January post, she hasn't posted a single political thing, which makes me wonder what's going through her head right now. She's still posting about motherhood and faith, but she stopped posting about what President Trump was doing and her support for him. Now, of course, we don't know that the absence of these posts means that she's had a change of heart. The absence of something doesn't mean that something doesn't still exist. But what I'm hoping is that this thread of Amanda from the very beginning and her faith is waking her up to who Trump really is. I made a list. Since January 27th, when Amanda posted, Trump has cut funding and fired federal workers who help veterans, programs that support mothers, education for children, programs for the poor, for cancer research, so many more things. He posted a video to his Instagram depicting himself as a golden idol to be worshipped. When he was elected for a second time, he didn't put his hands on the Bible. And while he was running, he actually made a Bible with his name on it and sold it and profited off of selling a Bible. Donald Trump has not been our president for very long, but what he has shown us so far is that he could possibly be the most anti-Christian president of all time. And one thing I'm wondering, because Amanda is smart, she's very smart, I'm wondering if she's noticing that. And I'm wondering if the calling for her is changing. If you go to the Elevate Beauty website, all references to politics have been removed and replaced with faith-based messages. So what I'm wondering is if Amanda's processing this as God's true test, that she came out so strongly in favor of President Trump, and that God is testing her to see if she's willing to throw everything away again in order to denounce him and his anti-Christian actions. Can Amanda ignore the things that we have learned about him? That he is a convicted felon, that he is an adulterer, that every action he takes seems to be furthering his own interests rather than the interests of the American people. He's said over and over again he's a Christian, but also been asked multiple times what his favorite Bible verse is, and he's never been able to produce one.
Okay. You mentioned the Bible. You've been talking about how it's your favorite book, and you said, I think last night in Iowa, some people are surprised that you say that. I'm wondering what one or two of your most favorite Bible verses are,
well,
and why.
I wouldn't want to get into it, because to me that's very personal. You know, when I talk about the Bible, it's very personal, so I don't want to get into verses. I don't want to get into...
There's no verse that means a lot to you that you think about or cite?
The Bible means a lot to me, but I don't want to get into specifics.
Even to cite a verse that
you
like?
No, I don't want to do that.
You're an Old Testament guy or a New Testament guy?
Probably equal. I think it's just an incredible... The whole Bible is an incredible... I joke very much so. They always hold up the Art of the Deal. I say my second favorite book of all time. But I just think the Bible is just something very special.
So if she is truly inspired by Esther, maybe this is God's true test. Will Amanda risk the leopards eating her face in order to stand up for what God has shown her that he wants her to do? She's done it before. She could do it again. I'm not holding my breath, but it's possible. No matter how I feel about Amanda, the choices she's made, her political views, I don't wish ill of her. And I do hope that she finds the parts of the Bible that are all about kindness and compassion and begins living through those, because you know and I know that's what Jesus would do.
We have so much darkness in our country right now, and a lot of the nation praises it and thinks it's good. And people literally are under what seems like a spell of media propaganda. And you might say, well, what about my business? Talking about my faith or politics isn't good for business.
Why are you building a version of Jesus that is only business friendly to other people, but that isn't representative of Jesus? And that is a hard pill to swallow. We paint this image of who we think God is, and we leave out parts that don't fit with our narrative. It's almost like instead of highlighting your Bible, you're taking the white out to your Bible. Be an Esther, bold and courageous enough to stand for the truth, to voice your opinion, to fight for the good of others, even when it means to sacrifice yourself.
Thank you so much for watching this deep dive on Amanda Ensing. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you are interested in watching more videos like this, I do have a Behind the Controversy playlist that I will link down below. And right next to me, I am going to link my video on James Charles. It was a deep dive. It was a deep dive. So if you want to dig into another influencer, that is there for you. Thank you so much for watching. Mad love to you, and I'll see you in a video soon.